everybody! Chris Francesa, or Chris Russo impression on record, starts off another fantastic edition of the only live wrestling podcast on the YouTubes. This is Slamcast. I am your host, Brandon Liggan. I am joined by my tag team partner, Mr. Michael Burhan.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael the Dick Burhan tonight, and I'm being a complete and utter douchebag to anybody that messages me today because I'm in a foul mood. And speaking of foul moods, I think Nikki Bella is on her period. What?
Wow. Already going for the heat already. Well, joining us, it's a three-man booth this week. Mr. Miguel Leon is joining us. How's it going, brother?
Joes! You goddamn Joes!
Did you just say Jews? You
took me
goddamn
out
Jews.
of the deep blue, and you made me a part of you. Sorry about that, guys. I just finished watching that skit from the SNL 40th anniversary show, and I take back every bad thing I said about Bill Murray on my show today. That was transcendental. That's what that was.
Bill Murray is a comedy genius. It's the reason why he's my idol. Plus, he's a dick to everyone, which makes him even more popular.
More or less than Chevy Chase, because I've heard stories about Chase. I've heard Chase is just a monster on sets.
Yeah, of course, when he says the N-word on set, that gets him fired from Community. That kind of...
Dead honky!
That kind of... Once you say that word, there is nothing that you can say that will win you over any brownie points from anyone.
I think what makes it funny about Chevy Chase saying the N-word is because he's one of the whitest actors I can think of. Like, he is just concentrated, just white. And especially when you go back to thinking about that skit, like I just referenced with him and Richard Pryor, it's funny. Like, Chevy Chase hasn't made that many good movies, but he seems like a cool guy.
He is a cool guy. I think Chevy Chase is misunderstood. You know, why can't we say the N-word? Oh yeah, you have to be like mugged, then peed on, and then the guy has to spit on you afterwards, and then you get a free pass.
Okay. Well, this has been.
We've got a couple more centuries to go for that, guys. We've got a couple.
This has been the weirdest intro of the show's history, and we have had a history of weird intros.
We're like herpes. We never go away.
Have you heard? Yeah, have you heard our show though? Our shows have like 30-minute intros before we get to our main topics, so it's fair play for me. I don't know about you guys.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the WWE have got. We've been mocking Curtis Axel on this podcast. A lot of people have.
I haven't been mocking him.
Yeah, well, he needs to be at WrestleMania, and his kind of journey to WrestleMania.
Justice for Axel, baby.
Justice for Axel. Hashtag Justice for Axel if you're on Twitter. Basically, the WWE decided to get in on the joke, and they posted pictures of Curtis Axel at various WrestleManias. And I'm not going to lie, I busted a gut. You know, you can find that, by the way.
I don't find it funny. I don't find it funny at all.
You can find it at facebook.com/groups/Wrestle Revolution. We're up on there. It's the forum for this lovely podcast, and we've got 71 members now. You know,
wow.
71 members.
I need to start promoting my show on there more often.
We have a celebrity member on the forum now as well. We have Raheem Jabron, aka Megaran, who's actually a huge wrestling fan. Decided to join in on the chats on there. I will randomly post pictures while on the stream tonight to show Curtis Axel at various WrestleManias because it is hilarious. It's like,
does Megaran have a movie?
He does. He has a documentary.
Has he been like in?
That's going to be out on Netflix. It's basically...
We're gonna have to talk something over about that because I'd love to have him on the show. You know, I'd be willing to promote his documentary when it comes out.
Megalomania.
You know...
He did a very successful Kickstarter for that. So I'll definitely have a word with him about jumping on the show. I know he's currently touring at the moment. He's one of the most successful independent rappers that I know. He's touring a heck of a lot. He's got a new album out, which I purchased, called Soul Veggies. So anybody basically want a copy of that, I can put the link of the album at the bottom on the thread as well. We do promote him regularly by playing his music on the most awesome gaming podcast, I Got Gameplay, where we've got a special guest on this Saturday, by the way. So make sure you join us for that. We do. It's a very, very special guest. Someone that I'm not going to say at the moment. He does comics for a living. So he's going to be on there with us. So
His
yeah,
name rhymes with CP Monk.
probably.
No, I'm just kidding.
If that would be a big coup. For
You're
us.
gonna have CP Monk on your show? Wow.
I was hoping Brandon would get that reference.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Speaking of CP Monk, there was something very, very interesting. I was listening to the Austin podcast and talking about how Vince, like how Shawn Michaels. One thing I will say, and I've kind of had a 180 stance on this. I wasn't going to get the network, and then I got the free February for the network. And there's so much content. I mean, I watch everything. One of my favourite shows to watch is NXT. Enzo Amore is one of my favourite talents on the show. If you see his promos, the crowd just gets into it. And the crowd at Full Sail University is so good. They're so good at hyping the talent and pumping them up. Which is a fun thing. But I was watching.
Well, I think it's just because it's such an intimate venue. That's because the crowd is right on top of everybody.
Yeah. But one of the fun things about it as well is you basically get to see something which makes Vince McMahon out to be a very big hypocrite in my book, and I'll tell you why. He did the Austin podcast. And basically, he did that podcast, and he talked about the fact that how him and Austin are kind of similar, and how Austin walked out of the WWE when he was supposed to face Lesnar. And Austin said, "Your writers don't know how to write for shit." Austin's words, not mine. He didn't censor himself on this. And Vince basically said, "Yeah, I wasn't going to talk to you, but then JR reached out, and then we started talking, and then we got you back." And Austin said, "I was hard to work with." Shawn Michaels has gone on the record saying, "I was hard to work with." Both of these guys were in very similar situations to CM Punk. Austin's he was beat up, his neck was hurting him, he was in huge loads of pain, and CM Punk had that staph infection, was in huge load of pain, wanted a break, and then they basically ended up getting angry, pissy, and in no right with both of those situations. Vince never withheld their royalties, but with Punk they tried to. And I want to ask you guys a question. I want to put it out to you guys. Why would they do that? Why is it they can't fix this situation like they fixed the Austin and Shawn Michaels situations? They were even paying Shawn after he quit the company. WrestleMania 14, I believe it was. He went up to Shane McMahon and quit.
I would say in terms of Shawn...
Okay, let's go.
Go on.
Miguel first, Brandon second. Go.
Okay. I would say in terms of Shawn Michaels, I mean, he was just the master manipulator back then. He knew how to politic his way into the pockets of the higher-ups. I mean, that's no surprise. Anybody just heard stories about that.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a matter of he knew how to be buddy-buddy with Vince enough to get away with that. In the case of Austin, I mean, Austin was a proof and huge draw. I mean, he's arguably the guy that pulled the WWE out of the number 2 spot when they were wrestling WCW for ratings. In the case of CM Punk, I've always gotten this sense that they never really fully were behind CM Punk. I think they almost resented the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were always resentful of the fact that he was this indie guy that was basically his own creation, and he kind of forced their hand in a way to get him over. And I think that's why I think there was a lot more malice behind their decision to withhold his royalties than there was in the mid '90s with Shawn and in the late 2000s with Steve Austin. I mean, I think they just liked them more. I mean, there's nothing really surprising about that. It doesn't shock me that those guys got over on WWE in that regard, and they didn't let CM Punk get over as much. I mean, especially nowadays when you've got more personalities behind it. I mean, I've said it before. I think I'm going to come on record and say this. I believe Vince McMahon is to the WWE what Bush number 2 was to the presidency. I think he's a guy who probably believes everything he says, but he has so many people talking in his ear and so many bad personalities kind of guiding his hand that I think that's where you get a lot of these over-the-top bad decisions from. I kind of wonder if half the decisions that Vince McMahon has okayed would have been okayed had you not had a Triple H or a Kevin Dunn in his ear. That's kind of the way I think it, just to go off on a tangent. But yeah, in terms of CM Punk, like I said, it's just they didn't like him. That's
But
really just
the thing
all
is,
it boils
though,
down
do
to.
you think Triple H is... Because look at NXT. Look at guys who who would have been considered, like Kevin Owens. No one would have given him a 2-month, like... Soon as you put him in, they hot-shotting him to the championship. Triple H did that. You know, you look at someone like Finn Balor. Again, he's very, he looks really nice, but his style isn't a WWE type style. But again, they gave him a chance to get himself over, which he did. You know, you've got guys who normally a Vince McMahon wouldn't take chance on, but Triple H is taking chances on them. So
He's
it looks
taking chances on. He's taking chances on them because he knows he can control them. You know, he knows he can keep his arm over them kind of as a buddy-buddy, so if they get over, it makes him look good. He didn't get a chance to do that with CM Punk. CM Punk came up on his own. He was protected by guys like Paul Heyman, and he was competing against Triple H. These NXT guys aren't so much competing against Triple H. Triple H is using them to bolster his credibility. You know, Triple H is now trying to get his seat in the, you know, the place of power, you know, aside from Vince McMahon or even above Vince McMahon, if some of these interviews are if some of the rumors are true. So yeah, it's a different inflection. You know, I wonder if CM Punk came up now in the NXT you know, docket, if the mindset that Triple H has would be different. Maybe he would be buddy with Triple H the same way that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and, you know, Balor and Itami are. Itami, Jesus Christ.
Itami.
That Hideo Itami.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? For me, as someone who's been in the industry, I know what politics is about. I've had stuff where I had to eat crow in a locker room, or I had my bags hidden, or I've seen people get pissed on. I mean, literally piss on their face in a locker room. You know, I've had like politics try and hold me down, and I've had like stuff like if I had a match with a certain person, like my match with Eddie Guerrero, was then someone else tried to top it. Does that make sense? And like, oh, he had a match with Eddie Guerrero, I want a match with Eddie Guerrero. And it's one of those things where you kind of... There's certain people who get into that environment and certain people who don't, you know. Sometimes, and Edge said it best, there's certain people who politic the wrong way and politic the right way. The wrong way is the ways that Shawn Michaels did it. The right way is a guy getting himself over to the crowd and being that number one guy, like Daniel Bryan, for instance. And how the crowd is kind of, you know, forcing the WWE's hand, in a sense, because people don't like certain things in storylines. And I like it. And Triple H was saying that he listens more to the crowd. You know, he understands more of what the crowd likes and what they want, and he wants to push who they want. But his hands are tied. Brandon, what was your thought on it, Mr. Host of Hosts?
Well, here's the thing about what I think. And the one great factor in all of these situations was time.
Yeah.
Time, I think, was what helped change the stance on that situation. It was about 18 months before Steve Austin and Jim Ross sat down and had that conversation that inevitably brought him into that room with Vince McMahon.
And they spent time like trashing him, didn't they? While, you know, in that confidential WWE Confidential thing, the first thing they talked about was him.
Yes. So I think we'll see over time whether or not the relationship between Punk and the WWE is ever repaired. I don't think so, just based on everything that has transpired and the type of person that I believe that he is.
But the thing is, he's
then
another thing I think as well, though, he's a bona fide star without them. That's probably pissing them off a lot more. They thought they could cut his legs off from under him, and he's signed this big deal with UFC. He's doing comic books on his own. You know, he's breaking the internet with a podcast and T-shirt sales. That's unprecedented. Yeah. Once you left the WWE, it's either sink or swim.
Oh no, he's definitely going against the grain, so to speak, when it comes to being released from the company. But like I said, I think over time we will see. You know, it might be after his UFC run, but it's not going to be anytime soon. Like I don't expect that relationship to be held, to repaired to anytime soon. Which brings us to this recent bit of news. It was yesterday. These documents were filed in Cook County Court.
I think it was yesterday. Yeah.
Yesterday, yes. Dr. Chris Amon of, I guess you could call him
the
WWE
staph infection
fame.
guy.
The staph infection fame, Z-Pack of fame, filed a defamation suit against Phil Brooks and Scott Colton, a.k.a. CM Punk and Colt Cabana.
This is laughable, in my opinion.
For $1 million!
Yeah, it's like $1 million. Sorry, I've got to do it. I've got the broken finger for this. $1 million!
Oh my god. Holy crap. God bless America, though, where you could say something on a podcast.
And get sued for it.
Yeah. God bless America, man. Look, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that this is a frivolous lawsuit and will be,
this is frivolous. This is a frivolous lawsuit to end frivolous lawsuits. I think the only person who's going to be getting paid out of this is probably his lawyers. That's it,
Or the WWE's. You know what this reeks of, though? This reeks of the WWE's legal department
strong arming Punk.
The WWE's legal department spending months formulating this strategy, and this is what they come up with. Chris Amon could sue Punk and Cabana for defamation.
You know what it is? It's their way of trying to say,
if Chris Amon wanted to sue Punk and Cabana, he would have just done it.
Yeah,
if he was felt really insulted by it. I think Chris Amon is a doctor, a medical doctor.
Oh, he's not a medical doctor. He's a freaking entertainment doctor. He's one of those doctors who basically, if he
you want to get us sued? Look, they're calling him a doctor.
Sue me! I have nothing. Sue me, you bitch! I have nothing.
Technically Ken Jeong is technically a doctor as well.
Yeah, we have, between us, we probably have a broken pot to piss in. Between us. Well, sue me! It will cost you more to sue me than you would get off of me. Literally.
I'm looking out for our best interests. That's all.
Miguel, you have like 2 cents, probably?
Yeah, I was going to say I got like $6 and some loose change from
there you go.
Doing the launch
Sue
today.
us, Dr. Dipshit, for $6 and loose change. There you go.
But guys. Burhan, we have to make sure that we don't upset our advertisers, though. We can't have this kind of controversy on our advertisers.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
We play from the Eric Bischoff mentality of controversy creates cash, bitch. But that's
where's my cash then?
Yeah. Eventually, once we get sued, we'll get popular, and then on Twitter we'll get that little tick mark on it. But yeah, I
want to be verified.
And welcome.
So,
Dave.
if you haven't heard already by the lovely voice that just chimed in, and the other third box on our lovely Skype chat, Mr. Dave Wade is joining us.
Wife's box in my mouth.
In my defence, it's Bollocks Telecom, the double fudge of the internet world.
By the way, as we're going through this, as we're playing the podcast, if you can see on your screens, if you're streaming this at the moment, loads of lovely pictures of Curtis Axel at WrestleMania. I find it extremely hilarious as I'm doing this. So we have that going on the screen as we're talking.
I'm debating posting a picture of Shinsuke Nakamura just because.
Yeah, and it's actually fun. You know what, I'm gonna do this technique and post pictures of myself going to WrestleMania. It's probably the only way I'm gonna be in the ring. But yeah,
are you gonna be in the ring doing things? Or you're just gonna be standing in the crowd like where's Waldo?
I think it's just awesome. There's stuff like Curtis Axel's just posing in the ring. There's one of Daniel Bryan holding up both belts, and Curtis Axel just standing there looking fierce. It's just so out of place. It looks really funny. And there's one with Mike Tyson punching Shawn Michaels in the face, and Curtis Axel just standing there in a pose position. It's ridiculous.
Award-winning photoshopery to say the least.
Better or worse than the photoshopping on Vince for the Muscle and Fitness magazine?
Vince is a combination of Photoshop, steroids, and probably testosterone.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Don't forget the get out of jail clause that covers all. Allegedly.
Exactly.
Allegedly.
Exactly. I have to be the legal department.
I'm sorry,
on
you
this one,
can't
allegedly.
be knocking down 70's door and telling me that you're basically, gonna be the.
He's a genetic jackhammer. Like, what do you
I doubt his genetic jackhammer works anymore. With the amount of freaking chemicals in his body, I doubt it.
Yeah. Not without 3 or 4 little blue pills.
3 or 4. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a very long woody right there.
What do you need a 16-hour erection for? Holy crap.
Listen, we don't know. But listen, let me just go back to the Dr. Amen issue with CM Punk. I have a question. Does he actually have a private practice, or does he just travel with WWE?
I think he has to be a licensed physician, obviously, to
Yeah, but does he make his own? I'm asking, does he have his own? Does he actually treat other people besides people in WWE?
No, I'm thinking he's only the WWE's doctor, and he's only there. That's strictly his chief mode of income.
Yeah. Okay, so if WWE hasn't already fired him, why is he claiming defamation when the only people that are paying him seem to have no trouble keeping him on? It's not like this defamation would ruin his credibility amongst his patients. His patients are under the contract of the people that he's already working for. So I don't understand that. In terms of this actual lawsuit, this could easily be blown out as soon as CM Punk shows the results from the other doctor.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they show those results and what the doctors told him, that's it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Because obviously, what's the lawsuit?
He's being sued by the doctor who didn't diagnose his staph infection and told him he was okay to wrestle. Even though he was told that he was going to die if he didn't have it removed by another doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, Punk and Cabana are being sued by Dr. Amen due to defamation of character for what Punk and Cabana said on their podcast
I could
about
literally
Amen.
hear the air quotes, Miguel, when you were doing that. I could hear the air quotes.
I'm good with that, But yeah, like I said, as soon as Punk releases those documents of what his personal doctor said, it's going to blow out of the water, because I highly doubt that Amen was smart enough to hold on to his own results. Because, like I said, if you're a professional doctor...
I don't even think the WWE keeps that detailed amount of medical.
Yeah. The problem is with them, they will do what they want, and again, I don't think it was his call to get Punk to keep working. I think it was Vince's, and I think he was kind of pressured by Vince to allow Punk to keep working, or allow talents to keep working. Kind of one of those whole patch them up and see what happens.
Rub some dirt in it.
Well, I think he knows. I think because he spends enough times with wrestlers, he knows that they want to get out there and perform. They would much rather perform than not perform. And
well, they need to get paid. So yeah, of
Well,
course.
exactly. This is what I don't understand about the doctor thing, though, right? Knowing that the documents exist that will clear, CM Punk, why is he so stupid that he's suing him for defamation of character when he knows that he's going to get called out on it?
I think it's the WWE's way of making them squirm. It's the problem with Vince and Co. I would call them a big bunch of children in a sense, because they don't want certain individuals to win. So once that happens, and someone gets away with doing something, because Punk got out of his 30-day clause. He had a 30-day agreement. He wasn't allowed to wrestle anywhere for 30 days.
No, it wasn't 30 days. It was 1 year.
1 year. Thank you. No, they amended that afterwards, didn't they?
No. They said it was.
Well, they had that frivolous no complete clause, because basically, if you call them independent contractors and then you're telling them that they can't work anywhere else, that's kind of wrong, because you can't. Yeah. If you're an independent contractor, you're allowed, once your contract's done, it's done. They're not paying you. They're not paying you to sit at home. They're not paying you not to work anywhere else. It's done. So that's frivolous. Secondly, they were withholding royalties from him, which they weren't allowed to do, because there was nothing in his agreement that stated that they had the right to withhold royalties, and again, that's frivolous.
You're right, they really are a big bunch of children, aren't they?
Yeah, so he got a lawyer because Punk has millions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of dollars. Oh, yeah. And basically got a very nasty lawyer, who's Jewish, by the way, just so you know, to knock on the WWE's door and said, hey, hello, what you're going to do is you're going to pay up his royalties, every penny you owe him, and any future royalties that he may have. And you're going to knock this contract on the head, or we're going to take you to court, who are going to make you pay probably 10 times that amount. So what would you like to do? So they paid up. And then they tried to put all these little clauses and stuff in there saying, well, he's not allowed to work for UFC or TNA. And he's like, well, he can work any way he bloody likes, but don't worry, he won't be working in professional wrestling anymore because he doesn't want to. You've killed any aspirations he has to work in that business. Was Punk being a dick? Yes. Was Stone Cold being a dick? Yes. Was Shawn Michaels being a dick? Yes. But it doesn't give any company a right to treat you like shit or kick you while you're down. And this is my problem that I have with the whole scenario. And again, I'm not, I'm kind of siding with Punk more than WWE on this. I understand what two sides are going for, but this is kind of their last chance to get at Punk, because at the moment he's Teflon. He signed a UFC fight deal. He doesn't know how to fight. He's concussed. He's basically, the guy's not really in his right body or mindset to be doing this, but he's going to do it anyway. And it's kind of his way of saying fuck you to the WWE, right? Mm-hmm. They
end in tears.
It's going to end in tears, and they're basically coming back and said, we wish him best and all this and that bullshit, because he basically did something, and he's gone out on his own and he's made money on his own. Punk in himself is a brand in himself. He's made all this money, he's done everything that he needs to do, and there is no one who can touch him. And this is why this lawsuit is happening. It's not for the money. It's not for anyone's suit. It's for them to try and get a story out that this jilted doctor feels really angry because they put his name in mud. Which, as Miguel said, it's frivolous. It's another thing that WWE are trying to do to get at him, because he's like, well, I don't need you. Fuck you. I don't need your marketing machine. I don't need your t-shirt sales. I don't need anything. I don't need your self-destruction of CM Punk DVDs.
We're not even factoring Cabana into this. I honestly think, in terms of Punk, yes, they're kind of sending a message to him. I would not doubt that they're doing this to Cabana too, to kind of, stick it to him for kind of being the conduit for all of this, for being the platform for CM Punk to kind of drag them through the mud. And I think in their mind, they probably think, wow, this Cabana guy is just some little dinky little podcast. Of course he's going to pay out. He's not going to he doesn't have the money to deal with our lawyers. Let's just go after this guy too while we're at it. You think Cabana's going to back down, or you think he's going to try to fight Vince's lawyers?
I think Punk's going to handle all the legal stuff. I don't think he'll have to pay anything out of pocket.
I think Punk.
But I think, you know what it is? Yeah. It is a good way for the WWE to get at his podcast, because I think while it's ongoing legal action between the two entities, I think there might be some guys might be afraid to go on his show because they might be afraid of the repercussions to their spot if they go on it.
I think so. There'll probably be anyone who's contracted to the WWE have probably been told not to go on like Cabana's podcast. That's a given. But I think anybody who's in the independent scene at the moment probably doesn't give a fuck. They don't care. Because, the market machine that Cabana has become, I've highlighted it. Again, go to our group, facebook.com forums, Facebook/groups/Wrestle Revolution.
You've only to check out my lovely new sweatband.
And, you have a look on there, and it talks a little bit on times.com. It's got the article about Colt Cabana and how he's become a marketing machine. How he managed to get himself over without the WWE. And this is what I think Vince and Co are afraid of. I think Triple H is embracing this.
It comes, like you said, but only falls back on the fact that, how dare you think, you don't need us, or you're bigger than us.
Yeah.
we're going to throw our toys out of our pram and be dicks because
It's
one's bigger
changed.
than us.
The industry has changed so much now that anyone can get over. You know, we're in the age of YouTube. As like, you know, I was talking to Miguel recently about a guy called Tobuscus who was on the recent Gamergate episode of Law and Order. Yes, he was being a sellout douchebag, but at the same level, it was he has an agent. A YouTuber has an agent. Do you know what I mean? And this is the age.
Wait, there was a Gamergate episode of Law and Order.
Yeah, it was written on the whole basis.
Was it SVU? Was it SVU?
Yes.
SVU.
Yes, it was SVU.
But
it is awful. I've seen clips of it. It is as bad as you think it is, but it's nothing for this for this platform, and we can talk about it more tomorrow. If anything.
when we have our special guest on for I Got Gameplay tomorrow as well, we'll talk a little bit about that with him. But basically, we talk about this industry and the way that the internet has changed professional wrestling. It's changed professional wrestling. It's changed the entertainment industry. It's changed films, music. You've got a guy like Megaran, again, who I alluded to, who works independently, books himself his own tour dates, and does everything on his own. You know, all he needs is an iPhone. You know, it's one of those situations where I can see how all you got to do now is get yourself over, is develop a fan base, give him your Twitter, give him, you know, everything in terms of your social media accounts, your Instagram, and just keep yourself out there, keep yourself viral. And Cabana did that. Cabana marketed himself. He sells t-shirts, he sells advertising revenue with his podcast. He goes out there and he wrestles matches and people go to see him. They follow him. He's got a very ingrained fan base. The same as any other internet personality has. Punk is kind of a different story because in his own right, Punk got over in Ring of Honor. Punk got over in the Independents, and then Punk got over more in the
Super
WWE.
over.
Yeah, in the WWE, despite the Machine. And this is the funny story because the Machine went against him, you know. They gave him that small push because they went, oh, let's see if you can draw with Money in the Bank. And he drew. It made a lot of money, you know.
Not as much as they were expecting. From what I've heard, the numbers aren't that much of a difference between Money in the Bank the previous year and that year.
Yeah,
I will give them credence on that. It wasn't as big. It was more the implied bigness that people talk about, you know.
And, you know, but it shows he was the highest selling merchandiser until they turned him heel, right? And then they just destroyed his push. They did it specifically, and Vince kept saying, hey, I'll owe you one, kid. You know.
And how many ones does he owe him now? Like 3 or 4?
Yeah, and it shows you how they did everything they could to keep this guy down because he wasn't seen as a WWE personality.
No.
Specifically, they didn't see him as that.
Oh no, not even they. He wasn't. He came in. His name is his own. Like I don't know how Heyman did it, but he managed to convince WWE to let him keep his indie name. He came in as CM Punk.
Yeah.
You know, everything about CM Punk, he came in from his independent field. Nothing about him was made by WWE.
I think they're kind of doing the same thing, and we saw it this week. Sorry, I don't mean to kind of hijack the conversation, but we saw it this week with the debut of Sami Callihan on NXT as Solomon Crow. I think they're going to kind of do sort of the same thing. They're not really going to change a whole lot from his independent run. I think they're just going to really kind of refine it and focus it and direct it more towards something.
You sure about that?
It seems to be now that. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, from what I've heard, they're giving him some like hacky mid-90s hacker gimmick, and I heard that.
Well,
and
I mean, yeah, they're implying it, like that's how they're like they're places like he takes over the show or whatever like that, but they're not really gonna change much about his, you know, the way he walks, the way he talks, the way he works.
They're gonna make him they're gonna turn him heel and make him a woman-hating nerd. Hashtag Sanity.
Oof.
You know Vince would do that. He would be like, "Hey guys, I was on this Twitter thing, and I saw this thing called Gamergate. I think we should really tap into that." It's like, yeah, we got that Sammy Callahan guy. I think we could.
Well,
we could,
we'll have one of our talents assault Renee Young.
Yeah, we'll say it was Solomon Crow. Hashtag Crow Game or something. Great idea.
Jeez.
God.
It's a great idea.
We need to stop because somebody's gonna hear this and it's gonna make its way to Vince. I need to.
You know what,
stop right
Vince?
now.
Again, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, you use steroids in growth.
It's gonna be me. I'm the one who lives closest to Stanford.
My name is Michael Burhan. You can find me. If you want my address, give me an email at michaelburhan@nerdgenius.com. I would most like to hear from your lawyers. And, if you want to hear me, if you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/thenerdgenius. It's where this is streaming. Check it out. And I will say some nasty, nasty things about you.
Yeah,
Apart from the fact that
I would like to actually work for the WWE. Yeah, I would actually like to work for the WWE one day, so I'm not going to say any nasty things about them. So,
I like your hair.
Just like to keep it 100. Keep it 100 and try to move on to the next one. Because we got a little bit of TNA news. Yes, I'm going to talk about TNA. That's how quickly I want to segue off this topic.
Hold on.
Samoa Joe has...
Go on, Miguel.
I would just like to introduce Nick Horaceck to the show. He kind of popped in during my rant on.
Yeah, I know. I just kind of got lazy. I got lazy. I kind of got lazy.
And by the way, that does give us a nice little segue because Miguel was the one who actually found this out before anyone. Any news site got a hold of it. Nerdgenius.com managed to get a hold of it because Miguel basically gave me the 411. Me being cool there. And it was like today. It was on the original date was on the 17th of February at 10:07 p.m. He said, "I decided to part ways with Impact Wrestling. My very best to them moving forward, and my eternal thanks to the fans in terms of this situation." So, go.
Go ahead, Brandon. You were going to say something before.
No, I mean, it's a loss for that company because that's obviously one of that company's biggest talents. But
Is that tweet deliberately him put himself out there? You think?
Yeah, it's legit. It's not somebody hacking him. It's a legit.
No,
tweet.
what I'm saying is
he's
him putting it out there because he's doing it for career progression or something. He wants to jump ship.
No, he's leaving. He's officially gone.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, he's gone. Yeah, but did he make a point of tweeting it because he wants to use it to go to somewhere else? Is what I'm saying.
No, I think he was letting
you don't like to burn the bridge. You don't like to burn the bridge, I mean, I think it's a general hard fella. He definitely made his name there, or improved that on his already made name, but on his reputation from ROH. So it's heartfelt. I think he's shooting straight from that one. So, and you don't want to burn the bridge. You never know. You might have to come back across it.
Mm. But the thing is, apparently he was pressed a little bit further. WrestleZone.com reports that they were upset. He was a bit upset because the money he wanted, TNA said they wanted to reinvest it in new talent, which I understand on TNA's perspective. There was a load of other things as well that Joe wasn't happy with the company. A litany of reasons, quoting Mr. Brandon Liggan here. And it bugs.
I love it when they say.
Yeah, it bugs the hell out of me. But the thing is, I think there's nothing he can do in the company anymore because the roster's changed. He was one of the kind of the head guys, a locker room leader with Robert Roode, with Eric Young. There's not many guys in the company that are kind of older talent, if that makes sense. So, in the end, it's a positive step. It's a step for Joe. He's made enough money. He's got enough to be comfortable. Steve Austin, Mick Foley, and a few others have actually gone out of their way, including Paul Heyman, and have basically trying to push this guy to go to the WWE. And I like that. I think seeing Joe on NXT would be awesome. Thoughts?
Oh
people?
yeah, no. Oh, put him on NXT. Put him on NXT. Don't put him into the WWE. Don't put him on the main roster because I just think he would just get lost in the shuffle right now. In that part of the company, but NXT would definitely be a good place for him to go to help push forward the next generation of talent, and to even maybe get himself to that point where he can be pushed to a. I think they should just originally go with what they originally wanted him when they wanted him way back in like 10 years ago. Just give him the Umaga gimmick. Just Umaga's back, guys. Look.
Shit.
Okay, Nick, what do you think?
Put Samoa Joe on NXT if he does decide to go to WWE, because on the main roster, they'd probably bill him as another Uso.
He's Paul Uso. Joe Uso.
Yeah, they could do a Dudleys with it. And just do loads of Usos. They could have
Uso
like
family.
They could have Tamina as Tamina Uso. Get to change her name, and then Joe Uso, and then you can have Big Dick Uso, and Sign Guy Uso. You could have Paulie Uso.
I'm an Uso. You're an Uso. Wouldn't you like to be an Uso too?
Exactly.
You're missing a trick here, Mr.
And
Burhan,
Uso,
with your Arnold
Uso.
Schwarzenegger
It's
voice.
not Uso.
It's Uso.
Fuck you, Uso.
Oh.
Sorry, I couldn't myself.
Okay, what about you?
Anyway.
Dave?
Sorry, what were you
I'm going
say?
to call it. He's going to WWE. I'm calling it. Allegedly.
I don't think
You
so,
think so,
man.
Dave?
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he'll just be independence, and maybe he'll go back to TNA.
Funny story that
Do you think they would like to have him though?
Apparently, New Japan want him, but they don't have the money to have him because they've got too many gaijin up there.
Same thing with ROH.
I'm sure.
Yeah, RH
Yeah.
don't have the money to fund him either. So he says.
Yeah, the only place that can afford to pay him probably doesn't want him.
Yeah, can I say something right here? Because I have to be the negative Nancy in this situation.
Oh, you negative
and
Nancy.
Here's why. Here's why. I like Joe. He was one of the big reasons why I became a TNA fan in 2007. He amazed me just the way he was able to move. But he's been the same Joe that he was in 2007. It's been 8 years, and I've just gotten so bored of Samoa Joe because of that fact, because he really has not grown as a character. And it's not like the situation you could see with a CM Punk or even a Daniel Bryan, who were in the business for about as long as he has. You could tell that their abilities and characters grew, whereas Joe is the same guy he was in 2007. In fact, I'd say he's worse because he's gotten out of shape. He's a lot older, and you can tell he doesn't move as well as he used to. It's just the bloom is off the rose, and I don't want to see him in NXT. I don't want to see him in WWE. There's just nothing there for me. I think his best character would probably be back in ROH as an elder statesman. I think that's his best role. I don't think there's a place for him, even in NXT. I mean, when you've got all that talent there, all these young, fresh-faced guys, I think we want Joe in there because of the lineage, but take the lineage out and just look at Joe on the roster as is. I don't think he would fit. He doesn't seem like he's got that same luster anymore.
I think he does. I think he needs a new environment because, in my opinion, he's gotten a little fat. And the reason being, it's because in TNA.
So you're saying he's fat.
Yes.
You can tell a lot of his time in TNA has been Joe versus catering, and I think a lot of it is because of the fact he hasn't been allowed to excel the way he used to. His match with Kurt Angle, I think, was one of his clinics with Kurt Angle have been some great matches. He had some amazing. He had the match of the year, the only match of the year in TNA, was him versus AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels for the TNA World Championship. The thing about it is the guy is an amazing performer. You just got to give him the platform to excel, and if he doesn't, fuck him. He's done. If he does, you've got a main event star in the making. and he can go from being a high flyer.
You're saying
to
you're saying he's salvageable then?
Yeah, he is. He's definitely salvageable.
He just needs to,
He's
he
no
just needs to get
Butterbean.
his shit together.
Yeah. You know. He's just someone that I think he needs the seasoning, and I think if he goes to the developmental center,
he's too old. He's too old, man. He's too old for them to bring in on a new like Rhino is something completely different because Rhino has already been in the WWE before, and Rhino is gonna be transitioning into a coaching role to kind of like show the bigger fellas how to be more effective workers and stuff like that.
Apart from standing there not talking and going, I'm
exactly.
Oh yeah, I'm Cobain.
I'm a robot. I'm Baron Cobain. Is that what you're calling him?
Yeah, I mean, let's think about this. I mean, even if he does sign with WWE, where does he go but as just an enhancement talent? I mean, it's good money, I guess, but don't you think that's kind of a waste of his talents if he's just there just to, job out to the young up-and-comers? Or, I mean, does that solidify what I'm saying is that he's kind of on the downslope, that he where do you go with a guy like Samoa Joe who is, not old enough to be old, but not young enough to be young?
New Japan. I think we wait for New Japan to find it somewhere in their budget. I think that's the best place for him. He works on really a global company, although they're really not on TV in this country. They do have global reach, and you see what you can get out of there. I mean, they'll definitely utilize him well because they recognize his name. Unless they're gonna, put him up against Tanahashi and Okada for the top. I don't think there's a market for him in the States. I just don't think there's room for him in the WWE, and I don't think there's, only a certain amount of group of those, hardcore wrestling fans are gonna know him. Kids that don't watch TNA aren't gonna know who Samoa Joe is, and they're not gonna want to care to do the research. Or maybe, no matter how many cool articles WWE puts up on them and, try and get them to watch those classic matches that he had with Punk and Bryan and what have you. But I just don't see him fitting in the WWE. There's just no...
Well,
I don't see it, man.
Then tell me something. With Joe's seasoning, the fact that he's a vet, the fact that he's a very decorated indie champion, pretty much like most of the guys on NXT are, like your Kevin Owens, like your Sami Zayn, like your Finn Balor's, like your Hideo Itami's. These guys are... Triple H is building a roster of champions, of people who can be main eventers on the WWE's roster. And don't forget Adrian Neville, the former Puck, as well.
Yeah.
My fellow Brit, These are guys who excelled in the industry. Why wouldn't you have Samoa Joe, one of the best big men out there? He makes Vader look like a pile of shit.
All right, well let's not go that far. He's definitely, I would say he's Vader He's Vader-esque.
I'd say he's Bam Bam-esque. He's a guy who
he's
could
definitely. There's a lot of good things about Joe in his prime. I think he definitely has lost a step. He's not as agile as he used to be. But there's not enough space, man. There's not enough space, and unless they're gonna I don't know. Unless they're really just gonna sign him just so they could get the pop that they would get from Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe in the WWE ring. Which there would be, but then beyond that, what do you do? Nothing. There is nothing to do.
Well, to me, I think I believe by the end of this year we're going to see Samoa Joe in the WWE. If not, then Vince and co really are just they really don't see it, which I think they do. And Triple H has actually gone out of his way at one point and said that Joe is amazing. So I think Triple H is going to push for this guy.
Okay, I mean, like I said, I see him being an NXT guy, but I just don't see him being brought to the main roster. Maybe, and it's a maybe in NXT, and I don't see him. I see him being one of the guys that really wouldn't, care about making it on the main roster if NXT is going to be on the road, because He's going to be on the road. He's going to be on a televised product. He's going to be a centerpiece of that. He doesn't need to be on the main roster. So, but I that's just what I think. But I think he waits for he does his time on the Indies until New Japan comes at him with an offer, and then he goes to Japan and makes that money makes that sweet yen over there.
I think I'm
That's what AJ Styles is doing.
I'm saying WWE.
Man.
What do you say, Nick?
He might go. He might not. He might just pull, an AJ Styles and just head to New Japan.
Another Bullet Club member?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Bullet Club members. Too sweet. Good brother Samoa Joe.
Norm Boy?
Good brother Joe.
I reckon I'm going to say WWE. I can, and I will. No, controversial.
Okay.
As the dust bunny blows across the room.
Yeah, this has been a very Dust Bunny laden episode, I feel.
Okay. What about you, Miguel?
I'm saying ROH. I think his best place is to be on that roster as an elder statesman, and I think that he can have some great matches. I'd love to see him and which one of the Briscoes? Jay Briscoe. A guy like him could have great matches. Him and Tommaso Ciampa could tear it up. Even him and Adam Cole. I wouldn't mind seeing those guys. I mean, I think there's a lot of great talents that he could have great feuds with. And honestly, Joe, like you said, Joe still has enough of a name to wrestling fans. I wouldn't mind ROH doing with Joe what TNA did with Kurt Angle in terms of revolving the promotion around. I think Joe could be the centerpiece of ROH at this point in that elder statesman role. That's why I would love to see him more in Ring of Honor than anything else. I think they could really they could build a brand on Joe. I think he's like you said, he's still solid enough. I just don't think he's solid enough to matter in WWE the way he could have 5 or 10 years ago.
How about this? No one's brought up the emerging new alternative in the American televised wrestling scene is Lucha Underground. Yeah, I mean that could
definitely
be
a possibility. I mean,
it could be there. Outside chance, that whoever is behind that company sees some potential in there and sits down with Joe's people, and they bring him in.
The problem though is Alberto El Patreon, because apparently he's the reason why a lot of these companies are kind of tying up their funds at the moment, because they're paying a lot of money to have Mr. El Patreon on the roster, because he doesn't come cheap. Alberto El Patreon working independence is like UFC signing Punk. He probably makes the same amount that he did in the WWE with both his Ring of Honor and his Lucha Underground contracts. Combined. And
he doesn't have to be on the road 300 days a year. So.
Exactly. So there's the big thing here. He's a big Mexican star. They're hoping that with his crossover appeal, he'll bring the audience over to them. And I just don't see any of these companies wanting to invest in Joe at the moment, because he's not the kind of... They've got the star power.
It's going to be interesting. It's definitely... Anytime a big free agent like this hits the market, the wrestling business and negotiations like that are so weird. And it's so random where some guys end up. It's so, you think
There's
some guys can
potential,
end up in one
isn't there?
place.
There's potential, excitement here. Because we don't know what.
But if I had to handicap it, I put the WWE as the least likely place where he ends up. But that's just my opinion. Moving right along, folks. Do you want to do your Ask Him?
Yes, I'm going to. Just see if anyone's listened to the show. I'm going to do a very fun little Ask Him, and that's this. Okay. Who were, speaking of disgruntled employees, the list of disgruntled former world champions that the WWE made their peace with?
Ooh.
It includes a few that I've mentioned on this podcast, and a few more.
We were going to talk. We have to literally talk about every disgruntled. It's basically, you could literally almost say every
former
disgruntled
world
employee
champions.
You have to make it has to be former world champion. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Who are the list of disgruntled former world champions that the WWE have now made peace with? And a lot of it...
Are we counting Ric Flair amongst this list? Because Ric Flair was probably disgruntled at one point in time. And
yes, we are. And we're also talking about someone who's entered the Hall of Fame. Not just him. Another one who's being inducted currently.
No. Oh, okay, yeah.
That they allegedly made peace with.
Yeah, well, no, there's peace. I mean, we definitely saw the proof. I mean, if you own an action figure, you definitely have proof of the peace that was made. Brother.
Yeah, brother.
And the beat goes on. So that's your ask him. What former world champions
Who are the
have they
list of
made peace
disgruntled
with?
former world champions that the WWE have now...
Is there like a minimum requirement? Because I mean, I have a feeling that some people are going to get this
Okay.
and not going to be able to name every single.
If you can go as far back as you
At
want,
least use
but
at least five.
I will say list at least 5 of them.
And if you can name
at
every
least
single
5.
one, you win Burhan.
Yeah, but you will not. You cannot list CM Punk because he hasn't made peace with anyone, unless this whole storyline
he's
with
definitely
him is a
not-
swerve.
Oh, if this is a swerve, I guess this is the swerviest swerve, the Russo-ist swerved ever
Of
to
them
ever
all.
Swerve. Yeah, no, this is Russoian genius.
Yes.
I think I just made up a word.
Yes.
God.
Russoian. Oh man. So now that we did our ask him, we got a big
I have a
pay-per-view
quick question.
special coming up.
Completely unrelated
Yes,
to
David.
anything. Sorry. Only my mum calls me David. Where can I watch WrestleMania 3?
WWE Network.
You can watch it.
So
You
it's
can
on
watch it
there,
on the
is it? That's what I was
WWE.
asking. Sweet, because
Yes.
I didn't know,
Well-
based on my lovely little WWE magazine I got tonight, mainly because I bought the Hulkamania headband and sweatband, that when he beat Andre the Giant, I got to see this. He picked up the 500-pound giant and then delivered his leg drop to end the giant's streak because he was 15 years undefeated at that point. How do you do that to a 500 fucking pound man? I
Well,
need to
saying
He
that,
jumps.
I was saying
he
that, I
jumps.
need a hero.
Well, I mean, if you believe what Hogan said, Andre was like 800 pounds that night.
Brother, I took the largest
Oh.
pythons in the world, brother. Lifted him over my head, brother. Slammed him to the mat, brother. And then laid the leg drop on him, brother.
And by lifting him over my head, he said he barely got him off the ground.
Yeah, I do have one
Andre,
bit of news
I'll
that
put
I
it
want
this
to
way.
mention.
Andre did not give Hogan a jump on that one. I made that joke. Andre jumps. Andre did not give Andre did not give Hogan a jump on that body slam. That was mostly all Hogan slamming him down.
Credit where credit's due.
I need to. I'm gonna after
Yeah.
this cast. I'm gonna jump straight on and see that. That sounds.
Yeah, it'll be in WWE Network. It'll be shows, Vault, pay-per-views, and then you could search by WrestleMania or you could search it by year.
Very, very true. Now,
What year was
Yes,
3?
sir.
let me go on to our lovely, because I've asked the Ask Him already at the moment, and let's go on to our lovely Kayfabe news segment, because the show is sponsored by KayfabeNews.com.
Oh, sorry, I thought I had my cough.
Allegedly.
I thought I had my cough button on.
You know, KayfabeNews.com, basically. The site that has loads of great articles, including watching lovely puppies instead of Roman Reigns promos. Now, the site itself gives you all our wrestling news, because myself and Mr. Brandon Liggan, our host, love this site like no other. It's featured regularly on our forums as well, when we post little articles. And it includes articles such as this one. I think is gonna be fun, a fun little article here. It is. I was gonna do the recent one, but I think I'm gonna go into this one.
You're going into the vault for this one?
Yes. Vince McMahon featured on the cover of Cosmopolitan. Vince, a 69-year-old chairman of World Wrestling Entertainment, once again stirred controversy this week by appearing on the cover of Cosmo, the long-running women's magazine devoted to fashion, sex advice, and dating tips. The sports entertainment mogul is depicted flexing his gruesome, leathery, muscular on the Cosmo cover, which is typically adorned the image of beautiful women, several decade McMahon's junior. McMahon is also featured prominently inside the magazine with a number of provocatively titled articles, including "How to Keep Your Genetic Jackhammer Operational After 60," "Toned Firm Grapefruits: The 5 Easy Steps," "How I Learned to Love Ted Turner," "What I Maneuver 20 Moves in the Bedroom to Drive Your Man Wild," and "It Was Me All Along, Confessions of an Evil Genius." The Cosmopolitan issue
Oh my god.
of the heels of
I can keep it together up until the last one. It was me all along. Confessions of an Evil Genius.
Wow.
Oh god.
I thought that was actually going to be the title of my autobiography.
Cosmopolitan issue comes at the heels of the recent issue of Muscle and Fitness, which showcased McMahon in the cover of Photo, the demonstration of the remarkable powers of Photoshop. Cosmopolitan hits newsstands this morning, and many people who snapped it up the first copies report that it's kind of gross.
Kind of gross.
This article has been sponsored by kayfabenews.com, where wrestling's still real to us.
Damn it!
There you go. And now let's get on to the paper. I'm cracking up with laughter.
Well,
Jesus.
I do have a bit of news that I want to talk about.
Okay, go Miguel.
Okay.
I'm reading up the article here on Sports Illustrated. Jon Stewart and WWE Seth Rollins are feuding. Yeah, this leaked earlier in the week. Seth Rollins, obviously, on Raw did a promo where he mentioned Jon Stewart retiring from The Daily Show and that he should be the one to take his spot. Well, Jon Stewart then decided to post up a video on YouTube kind of calling out Seth Rollins, claiming that he wanted to take on Seth Rollins in the ring and a bunch of other, boisterous stuff. Keep in mind, folks, Jon Stewart has admitted he is a massive fan of WWE, so I don't know what to make of this. To me, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if this is them setting up a Seth Rollins, Jon Stewart program for WrestleMania. It wouldn't shock me, and honestly, I want to see it.
I never really entered my mind of being into the realm of possibility until you actually said it, and now I'm just seeing it, and I'm just like, holy crap, they have to do that now. And
Yeah,
it's like
and
someone's got to Hogan's got to train Jon Stewart, full on montages and everything, and then I just want Seth Rollins to curb stomp him.
No, I don't think he's going to actually get in the ring. I think what you're going to see is probably something similar to Battle of the Billionaires, where Stewart's going to have a fan favorite kind of take the role against Seth Rollins. And I was talking to Burhan about this. I can't think of anybody more perfect for that role than Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
I think a Dolph Ziggler-Seth Rollins WrestleMania matchup, not only on paper would that be an amazing matchup, but you throw in the fan favorite nature of Dolph Ziggler and obviously Jon Stewart in the role. I think this would be a big match for both guys. I mean, I think it's
Both
probably a great
comedians.
number. Yeah, I think that it's a great number 2 spot for Rollins, given all the controversy. I think it keeps him in a main event role without him being actually in the main event. So it kind of salvages that. I think that this would be a great consolation prize. If he's not going to be in the main event this year or anywhere near the main event at WrestleMania, give him the celebrity spot. Have him go up against, Dolph Ziggler and have Jon Stewart in a corner. That would get people talking, especially given Jon Stewart, leaving The Daily Show. He's still in the news. I would not be shocked if that's WWE's plan.
Hey, satisfies 2 WrestleMania criteria: big celebrity involvement and finding a way to utilize talent without really giving them a main event spot. I never really entertained it as something that could happen until Miguel just said it, but now I can't picture WrestleMania without it. And imagine this literally just wasn't a plan. This literally just started just because he said that one thing, and Jon Stewart happened to see it, and then releases a YouTube video, and then people contact people, and here we are.
Watch the night after Fastlane. I guarantee you're going to see more of this pop up. You're going to see Jon Stewart's name pop up more and more on Raw. Like I said,
how about this? How about this? You might get to see it next week because WWE is coming back through New York next Friday. So, I mean, maybe Seth Rollins goes in a day ahead and films something on The Daily Show on a Thursday. Just saying.
WWE, if you're listening, take notes. We're pitching you a low ball. This is an underhand one right here.
Softballs. We're giving you, this is again, creative geniuses that we are. Dusty Rhodes level creative work going on right here. I mean, this is some real Shockmaster level stuff right now. They can talk about this for 50 years.
I'm okay with it because, like I said, Jon Stewart at least is a wrestling fan. It's not them bringing in some know-nothing celebrity to just be there. You can tell Stewart follows. Yeah, you can tell it's genuine. It's like when people brought up the idea of Shaq being a part of WrestleMania, or was it SummerSlam when he hosted WWE Raw. Shaq's an admitted fan. When you're a fan, I'm not going to dismiss it like the IWC does, as, they're just bringing in some celebrity. No. You can tell he's into the product. It isn't, Kathy Lee and Hoda doing that awful shtick they did on Raw. This is a fan that knows the product, that is enthusiastic, and Stewart's a great guy, it's Jon Stewart we're talking about.
I mean, the Kathy Lee and Hoda thing, I think we've talked about it ad nauseum on this show. Still mind-blowing, level of creative ineptness. They totally have no idea about their audience if that's who they're bringing on their show.
Yeah, that wasn't for the audience.
I've said it before on this show.
That was to satisfy some sort of network contract.
Look, when you manage to outsuck the Katie Vick angle, you have reached a level of fail that was never thought possible. That's all I got to say about that.
Streams moment.
Yes. So,
Yes.
Fastlane this Sunday, guys. What do we think? Do we want to talk about that now, or do we got any other business we want to handle before we get into the large meat of the show? Large meat.
So we're clearly not.
Insert Beavis and Butthead laugh.
We're clearly not talking about Seth Rollins, indeed. Do you think Dick Gate is gonna hold them back from that, though? Do you think?
Fuck no.
He's big enough of a man to overcome that.
You kidding me? This is a celebrity angle. They're gonna bring that up. They're gonna show the pictures on Raw. This is just fuel to the fire.
You think so? Holy shit! I don't think they would do that.
Please.
Oh,
God,
or at least I think that's a John Cena thing. They wouldn't save that for John Stewart. John Cena would do cut promos like that. 2005 Cena would do something like that.
You know what? I could, like I said, and I didn't get a chance to say my thoughts on the whole, Dick Gate thing. So I'd like to kind of speak my piece on that.
Go on.
It's unfortunate that it. Yeah, I try to keep it PG, guys. It's unfortunate that it had to happen, but it's a victimless crime. It's not like he was hurting himself doing drugs or anything. It's not like he, beat up on his girlfriend or anything like that. It's not a horrifying crime. It's embarrassing more than anything. The nature.
Were you like me? Were you like me, and you were happy to know that it's good to know that Seth Rollins doesn't have everything?
Well, not that mindset, but in this day and age, it just happens. I myself don't have any pictures of myself on my phone like that at all, and I can admit that, but that's just something people do. I know a ton of people who have pictures of themselves like that on their phones. It's just, it's
you
a
really
new
need to hang
age.
out with some different people then.
I've got some fun friends. I don't know what you're talking about, but anyway, it's just a new age. It's a new age scandal, and I think it's not really even a scandal. Like I said, it's just a new age issue, and I think WWE probably realizes that, and they're probably not going to do anything about it. And look, it happens to celebrities all the time, and we just kind of bat it.
Well,
we don't even bat an eyelash
taken
out
out
of it. So
because of the cloud thing with Apple, wasn't it? Let's be honest, it's happened before so many
Yeah, the
times.
fapping.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I'm
it's
pretty
a
sure
thing
it's
that
going to be like. The bottom line
Yeah,
is,
it's
if
a
you
thing
take a
that
picture of your
happens,
winky,
so-
it's getting out there at some point. Let's be honest.
Or if you fuck
you're a
someone,
famous
it's getting
person.
out there somewhere as well. Or your boobs.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care.
I mean, come on. This is the same company that a couple of years ago was showing those pictures of Randy Orton. You remember that skit? It was like, I think it was
with
DX.
DX, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
they did
here's the
that.
funny thing. On the network, I just watched Vengeance 06, and one of the Spirit Squad guys getting his face shoved into Triple H's ass, so... yeah.
I think Triple H has kind of got some gay tendencies there.
Oh, he's so far deep in the closet, he's finding Christmas presents. But anyway,
Yes.
like I said, I could see them at least playing up the whole controversy and kind of giving Stewart the leg up. You know, him kind of bringing it up to kind of take shots at Rollins. But like I said, this is all good. This is all should lead to a matchup between Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. I think that's a perfect spot for Ziggler, and Ziggler can lose that matchup and it won't hurt him. You know, I think it's probably the best case scenario for WWE. So I'm pushing for it. I want to see Stewart and Ziggler versus Rollins. I really do think that's a blown opportunity if they don't go down that route.
Or how about this to get everybody involved? Stewart and Ziggler against Rollins and Stewart and Ziggler against Rollins and J&J Security.
I don't think Stewart wants to get in. I don't think he needs to get into the ring. If you're going to do a tag matchup, throw Ryback in that role. Ziggler and Ryback against Rollins and J&J Security. I mean, yeah, I guess if you're going to make it a 6-man, you could throw Stewart into there, but like I said, I don't think he needs to get into the ring. I think him just on the outskirts kind of doing the whole shenanigans thing is all you need. His involvement, just being there, is all this feud needs. He does not need to get into the ring. That's overkill. It's like when Jay Leno got into the ring against Hogan and Bischoff when he had Diamond Dallas Page in his corner. It's an unnecessary
He did that
upscaling.
totally sweet armbar,
Oh yeah.
and Hogan sold it like it was like God putting him in that armbar.
Hey man, I'll admit I recently rewatched that matchup. Kevin Eubanks should have been in that role. Eubanks was ripped for that matchup, man.
Yeah, for real. Oh man.
Playing the
Good
bass, man.
times.
That's what it does to you.
Good times. Late 90s.
Oh my
WCW,
god, I'm
good
slowly
times.
flicking through this magazine still, right? And I've just got to say, to WWE magazine, thank you for the greatest Shawn Michaels poster in the world. That is all.
Oh thank God! I thought you were saying I thought you were looking through like Penthouse or something. I'm like, Dave, put that away, man. There's like children.
Jesus Christ.
That great, you mean that great one where it's just like him...
Got the glasses
in the
slightly
shower.
down, he's looking forward, and he's got an amazing mullet.
Or what about Shawn Michaels in Playgirl?
Yeah,
This isn't
don't even get
new,
me
people.
started.
This isn't new. This is what it is. I think
You
people,
told me girls read that magazine.
that's exactly what he said to Triple H. That makes me laugh.
Yep.
Oh, I miss you,
He posed
HBK.
for gay. He posed for gay men.
Yeah. Hey, if it meant getting the money that you know what, if I would end up with a hot wife afterwards, I'd probably post for gay men
if
too.
it got me a Nitro girl too, I'd totally show my junk for a gay men's magazine. Yeah.
Exactly.
If
I
that
mean-
was a direct
I mean,
That was
look,
the
man.
direct-
If you got, I have no
one
shame.
for one
so if I
trade.
had- If I had the body like some of these wrestlers do, I'd do it too. I mean, honestly, if I were Seth Rollins, I'd probably parlay that into a spread like that. I'd be like, all right, fine, everybody's seen my dick. I can at least make some money off of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's up?
Maybe
Oh,
that's
God.
why he did it. Maybe that's he thought he'd put it out there and see if like he'll fish for a deal with Playgirl. I'll just put a picture of my junk on my phone. It'll get leaked to the cloud at some point, and that's what happens.
Yeah, Brandon, if it got you
business
paid,
card.
you would do it in the fucking heartbeat.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, I'm gonna do it for
That's it goes without saying. By the way, I am
Yep.
strongly considering. By the way, we should update that. Depending on the success of or the ability to complete this mission, we may have to record Slamcast early next week because the WWE is going to be in Madison Square Garden for Hulk Hogan Appreciation Night. I think I want to go. Let's see if I can round up a posse of people to go with me because I'm not going into this alone. Also going to be.
Yeah, you pay my airfare. I'll come over.
I don't have that kind of money. I'm not the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase. If I was the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase, he'd be on a jet right now. But,
well, just be careful. You might see the competition there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's okay.
And on that note, shall we go on to Fastlane?
Yes,
Yeah.
let's. I don't really view them as competition though. So.
What's that?
Competition.
Exactly. Don't worry about it.
Who? TNA?
No, because we're not going to mention it, because if I do, you'll go off on a tangent, and we really should get on to Fastlane.
What? No, go on, mention it.
We'll just throw it in. I'll throw it into the chat. Don't worry. You can go on to Fastlane.
Are we talking about the other podcast?
The competition, yes.
Not really competition.
Yeah, and
Not really.
they're not
Fastlane.
competition. We do us. I do. You know.
We do them.
All right.
we do that.
Fastlane.
We do us.
They
They do
have-
them. They can continue to troll us on the YouTube channel.
Okay. Fastlane.
Do they troll us?
Yeah, they trolled the YouTube channel. And all I have to say to them is, it's been 2 years. Grow up. Now on to Fastlane.
We got there in the end. We go.
No, this is going to be a good pay-per-view. I think the back end of this pay-per-view is definitely more of the strong part of this. I mean, the only other match I'm only looking forward to, honestly, is Bryan and Reigns. Wait, then what's the other? See, I can't even name the card. I can't even name the card off the top of my head. We're 2 days out from the pay-per-view, and I can only name 2 matches.
I've got the wiki up.
I've got
Wiki
the
away,
up.
sir. Wiki away. Where do we want to
All
start?
right.
Just pick a match and let's just go. Let it happen.
We'll start with the one at the bottom of the list. Let's go with Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback versus The Authority. Seth Rollins, Kane, and The Big Show. 6-man match.
Oh Lord. Oh, this is gonna be a fun match to watch. I don't even know where to begin with this match. I think nothing's gonna really be said. This is gonna be this match is gonna be all over the place. Spots aplenty for people to get their shine in. But I think it's ultimately a night for the Authority to conquer going into the road to WrestleMania. Team Authority wins. My humble opinion, though.
Yeah, this matchup to me is just there just to sell these guys for some type of future program. I'm still going to stick with my idea. Ziggler versus Rollins for WrestleMania. You could even have Big Show and Kane versus Rowan and Ryback to start the show, I guess, if you have to have them on the roster. But
well, no, it seems like we're literally what we're planning for. We're setting up for is Big Show versus Kane, because Big Show, can't keep a disposition for more than 3 months.
I don't get this. It's like the guy's on his period. He's like he has a menstrual cycle or something.
Big Show
God.
is the most fickle. Yeah, he's the most fickle performer of all time. It's like, yeah, I don't really care. That's what I think he should be. He's just like, yeah, I don't care. Cheer me. Or
I don't
boo me
get
up.
the next one. I don't. That to me just I don't get the point of it.
we'll get to that.
Oh,
I mean, can you imagine that Big Show and Kane, if that's the plans for WrestleMania, can you believe their first matchup was in 1999? I rewatched it. It was the one on the 99 King of the Ring, the semifinal matchup they had, and they're still wrestling each other. Oh my God! That kills me. The fact that this is still a thing. This is still something that they play towards. It's just,
Two big guys.
It's just
it shows that it shows their way of thinking. Like, all right, we have these two big guys. Let's throw them together because it's an attraction.
I'd rather see Ryback and Rowan versus Big Show and Kane. If you're gonna do that, at least give those guys the rub. I like Ryback. Always been a fan. Rowan could, drop dead for all I care, but if they're gonna do something with him, fine. But I mean, Big Show and Kane in a singles matchup at WrestleMania. I hope to God that's not the case. I don't even want to see that on the pre-show. I just don't want to see that at all.
Oh. And we thought Cena Orton was overplayed.
Good point.
I think this is like the big guy version of Cena Orton.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, you got an opinion on this? I know you do. I know you got an opinion on this match.
So it's Rowan and Ziggler versus Big Show and Kane.
No, it's Rowan, Ziggler, and Ryback versus Rollins, Big Show, and Kane.
You know what? At least they're getting these guys on the card. I guess that's really what I could say. It just seems like they could be doing so much more with someone like Dolph Ziggler, as opposed to throwing him into a 6-man. But whatever. I say a Team Authority win. Either actually, you know what? I'm thinking Big Show is gonna turn on Kane. If they're really gonna set up Kane versus Big Show at WrestleMania, this is where Big Show turns for the 1,000,000th time.
Heel turn, repeat. Big Show face turn, repeat.
Yeah.
It actually should be eat, sleep, turn, Big Show, repeat.
Yeah.
So does anybody else have anything? Burhan, you've been unfortunately quiet in this whole endeavor.
It's because I'm checking out the Ask Him at the moment, because there is a long list of people.
And you're very...
Oh, shit.
This was the most nebulous Ask Him I think you've ever done, because it's like former World Heavyweight Champions that WWE has had a problem with. I think it's a smaller person to...
And Luger doesn't count, Chris, because he wasn't a WWE World Champion.
Oh, okay, see, there you go.
I have an opinion on this match.
Go ahead, Dave.
Go for it, Dave.
I just think it's going to be a mess. I agreed with you. I think it's going to be.
I think
all
Dave and I are in the
just-
same boat. There's going to be a few
just
bright
looking at the
spots
list.
with Ziggler.
Yeah.
There's going
It's
to be a
almost
few
like
bright
it's
spots
just-
with Ziggler and
It
Rollins.
feels
but
like it's just been put there to pad out the
yeah,
the
I
night
expect
spent,
a lot
you know,
of.
it's like they
I
run out
expect
of
a lot of
ideas.
time for the
boys.
Big
One
Show
at a time.
clotheslines. Yeah, I didn't know who's talking.
Dave,
You may
you go
have
first.
I just feel like it's like it reeks of afterthought or just no thought. In fact, just we need an extra thing on the roster. We need an extra thing on the night's entertainment. Oh, here's an idea, and most half-assed flung out idea ever, and it's going to be a train wreck of all over the shop. Just my thought.
Yeah, I think, like I said, there's going to be a few bright spots in this match. It's going to be, Ziggler and Rollins doing their thing, but I'm just expecting a lot of awkward Ryback clotheslines, a lot of Eric Rowan going over the top rope, kind of silly looking, and yeah, just a lot of awkward stuff. Just a lot of awkward stuff that's not going to be like as crisp as to my liking. It's going to annoy me a little bit.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to jump ahead, but I'm just saying I'm looking at the whole night's events, and I just me. I mean, I know I'm new to this compared to you guys, but I just think for a pay-per-view, it's just underwhelming. Excuse me while I stop that dust bunny.
Oh, yeah, the dead silence. Okay, let's move on to the next matchup then.
What was
Goldust
the match
versus
you guys were talking about? The one that was going to be a clusterfuck? Sorry.
Ziggler, Rowan, and Ryback versus the Authority. Rollins,
it's been
Kane,
done
and Big
to
Show.
death. It's been done to death. I'm going to say Ziggler's team to victory. Show turns on the Authority, which is going to be so fucking stupid, but it's going to happen. You can bank on it.
Mum always said, "Stupid is as stupid does."
Boy. And the Big Show is one of the stupidest of them all because he doesn't know if he's heel or face. That's like doesn't know if you're gay or straight. Hey, I'm married to a woman. Let's go fuck some guys.
You heard it here first, people. Burhan's going to go fuck some guys. Sorry.
Yeah, he just it doesn't make sense. Like 1 minute he's like pro authority, next minute he's anti authority, next minute he's pro. You know what? It's like he will just come up to the fans like, "I love you. Look, I fought against the Authority. We still don't like you. You're a fucking idiot." I wish he just picked one alignment and just stayed like that for the entire next 12 years.
The rest of his time in WWE, just like
Yeah.
he's got to be coming close to the winding down moment. Like, I would just like to see him say something for the rest of the last bit of his career.
Which is Twilight performance.
Exactly. Just stick with something. All right, what's the next match on this lovely pay-per-view card? That I don't even think here's the sad thing now. We're in the point of the television viewing season where there's so many shows going on at one point in time. I don't know what I want to watch. It might be literally Monday right before Raw when I watch this paper. Go to watch this paper.
Will this be on the network?
It will be on the network. Everything is going to be on the network.
I'm just cynical because when you get addicted to something, then usually someone comes along and takes it away.
They're not going to take this away from you as long as you're paying your $9.99.
Promise?
Yes.
Uncle
Vince will not hurt you.
Bryan versus Reigns. Is that what we're talking about?
Nope.
I mean, that's
I'm
the
going
main
chronologically.
event.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, not even the main event. I'm going chronologically based on the matches listed on Wikipedia. So
What's this one?
the next matchup for Sunday Night Raw is Goldust versus Stardust.
I really don't like the way this feud is panning out.
Sunday Night Raw.
I would rather have seen I would rather have seen Stardust turn heel and become Cody again. I think Stardust has been overplayed. I think the gimmick is done. I think they're trying to make him into the new Goldust, in a sense, so he fills that spot that his brother doesn't. And when you try, when you try and imitate a character, it becomes self-parody. I want to see this match happen, but I don't want to see it like this. I'm saying Goldust with a rematch at WrestleMania. Goldust, it could be by match stoppage, by Stardust basically getting disqualified, or Goldust getting... I don't think it's going to be a clean win, but I say Goldust.
I think it's going to be a clean win. I think he's actually... Not only is Cody going to win this one, he's going to win the next one. I don't think Goldust needs to win any of these matches. He's trying to put his own brother over. He wants this to be his last duty before he finally rides off into the sunset. So I think we are going to see Cody win this one. I think they're going to try to put on this whole thing to where, if I lose this matchup at WrestleMania, I'm done, I'm going to retire. And then Cody just gets the clean win and Dustin can ride off into the sunset and be one of the backstage producers. I could see them maybe turning Cody back into Cody for WrestleMania. That could be something. The whole Stardust thing, it's a gimmick that I'll admit is beneath Cody, but at the same time, let's say he does get rid of the Cody, he goes back to Cody Rhodes. He just becomes a regular guy on the roster. I think as bad as this gimmick is, it makes him relevant, and he's sold it. He is selling this gimmick for all it's worth. It's not as innovative as his brother's first run because he's not allowed to be. He can't push the same boundaries that Goldust did. But it's making him a name. We're talking about Stardust. It's something that keeps him relevant for better or for worse. So I'm perfectly fine if that's the case. Where they go with him post WrestleMania, I don't know. But, we haven't reached that point, so I don't know what to say. But in terms of this matchup, I see Cody going over clean. And for WrestleMania, when they do the rematch, I see Cody going over clean again. This is to get Cody over. That's all this is for.
I just have no interest in this match whatsoever. I'm not going to lie.
I don't think they've built this properly. I agree with you, Dave. It
afterthought.
Yeah, and then the problem is, it's gonna... I don't know.
Damage their credibility?
Yeah, because it's not built properly.
I think it's not going to be built. I think it's not that it's not built properly. I just think they're taking the wrong creative direction. I think, like I said, they just turn a little bit things. They kill off the Stardust character because I think it's ran its course. It's kind of just played out at this point in time. I don't care how many weird, bizarre promos he could cut. He's not going to be on Bray Wyatt's level when it comes to promos at this point in time. Like, I think there's Bray Wyatt's promos and then everybody else. I think if this Undertaker build has shown everything, granted, yes, they're all pre-taped, but Bray Wyatt promos, everybody else. That's
if you're going to actually not network this, what's the actual cost?
It's free.
$59. It's $60 though if you're trying getting on through non-WWE network services.
That's a lot of money for what I like to consider so far. These two events in.
Sunday Night Raw, like exactly like Miguel said.
Yeah,
Sunday Night
I agree
Raw.
with Miguel on this one.
To be fairness, if you guys are going to give me props, I have to give credit to Mark Madden. He's been calling the pay-per-views for WWE for the past year Sunday Night Raw. If you read any of his editorials, so I can't.
I'm kind of not interested in
WrestleZone
WrestleZone stuff, especially what Vince Russo says.
I still follow Mark Madden. He's funny. I do a great Mark Madden impression, by the way. If you've ever seen my work on other podcasts, I do an awesome Mark Madden.
Okay, well,
you're not gonna give us any right now.
Yeah, because is that
on
you're
now.
holding out on us, Miguel?
Oh, are you only do it for that other podcast? Is that what it's saying? Is
No,
not good
we have to be talking about news, so I can do the whole Mark. One of the things I love to do with Madden is the fact that if you ever hear him actually talk, he must have the microphone so close to his mouth you can hear his chew every single time he talks. You know, it's like, there's Mark Madden, super genius, on WrestleZone.com. It's the most annoying thing ever.
Do you know what as well? When he talks, he sounds so exhausted. He's like, takes like deep breaths, and he's like,
you can tell he's out of breath because he talks in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
You know, he'll basically, he'll be like, today I was reading on WrestleZone.com, and I was listening to what that guy on there on Chairshot Reality said. And what you gotta understand is that these marks don't know what they're talking about. See, I was in WCW. I know what I'm talking about. I was an announcer for like 2 years.
His entire conversation sounds like it's someone with a soundboard.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, and he's a radio personality, and a pretty famous one in the Philly area. Is it Philly that he's still got a radio show in? You live in the East Coast, Brandon. I figured you'd know. I don't
get Philadelphia radio stations. I'm a New York centric guy, man. If it doesn't take place inside of the fucking tri-state area, I don't pay attention to it, bro.
Fair enough. So we're all clear. We're all clear. It's probably Cody going over on this matchup.
Yeah, I'm saying Goldust by DQ.
Okay.
Some sort of dusty finish, if you will. See what I did there?
But
Yeah. Oh yeah, he is going to be in one of their corners, I believe.
I got some weird kids.
Playing a factor in this. Yeah.
American Dream.
Shit.
All right, let's move on.
I love the fact even this conversation about the pay-per-view just sounds boring.
Like I said, it speaks volumes, the fact that this feels like, you can tell this is a match, this is a pay-per-view that's being given away free on the network, is all I can say about that. You can tell. Let's go on to the next.
Would tune in.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't really pay $60 for this, and I'm sure WWE's going to remind us. It's like, why are you paying $60 for this?
They're basically going to call you fucking stupid.
Yeah, you could be paying you could be doing it for free. We're giving it away for free. You must be really stupid if you paid for the pay-per-view cost. Why would you want to give us money there, Mago? Anyway,
God.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next.
Your quasi JBL voice. That was great.
Yeah, man, watch me. I'm gonna promote my website too, the Layfield Report. And Mama Juana, is he still even doing the energy drink thing, or did that crash? Did that go under?
I don't think he even freaking does any of that.
I think that crashed.
They had that deal with Soccer at one point as well, didn't they? With like Eric Bischoff's drink. Apparently,
I don't know if it was JBL or it was Hogan, because I remember there was that episode of Hogan Knows Best. I don't remember.
Hey, you want to see my whore wife, brother? And my freaky kids, brother.
Why isn't that on the network? Why hasn't WWE reached out to VH1 and just been like, we'll buy the rights to the Hogan Knows Best episodes and just throw them on there? Get Brooke Knows Best too. Throw it on there. If you're gonna get Total Divas, you might as well package it with Hogan and Brooke Knows Best.
Because I don't think they're not their show. They don't want anything to do with it. He wasn't in WWE at that point in time regularly.
No, I think he was, because I do remember they profiled his matchup with Orton at the time. I think there was an episode revolving around that. I think
that was when he was like he was coming back and doing like one-off spot performances. It was like just after he had like his last final run in WWE, and then he was just doing the one-off spot performances. Like he did the one match with Shawn Michaels. That was during that period of time. The greatest match, one of the greatest.
Did the one with Orton.
Not so much.
Did the run-in spot at WrestleMania 21 to beat up Muhammad Hassan and Daivari.
Yeah, exactly. Just those one-off moments.
God.
Blanket heads.
That was a great theme song, by the way.
I loved it. I thought that theme song was awesome. I felt that Muhammad Hassan would have been a major heel in the business if they actually just let the guy go. You know, not release him. I mean, let him actually do his thing.
Yeah, well, it was the London bombings and that it just horrible timing. It's nothing that has to do with Hassan or WWE wanting to get rid of him. They were going to push that guy he was going to end up being the world champion. They were pushing him to the belt, and then the London bombings happened, and then he became a victim of circumstance.
It's victim of circumstance. Absolutely victim of circumstance.
No, I agree. And the problem is they couldn't rekindle that, which is like with Rusev. No. I think Rusev is far inferior to Muhammad Hassan.
We'll get to Rusev. Rusev's going to be the main event here, so we'll get to that. But yeah, let's get back onto the main card. The Usos, featuring Naomi, against Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, featuring Natalya, for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And let me just say something real quick. I think I have the perfect person to kind of go off on a tangent to induct Rikishi into the Hall of Fame. I think Naomi should do it.
Because they're pretty much inducting Rikishi's ass, and Naomi's got one of the best asses in the WWE.
Oh, you ruined my punchline, Nick. I was going to say because she's the only one on the roster with a bigger ass than Rikishi. You ruined it, man.
Actually, I would say Natalya is the only one on the roster with a bigger ass than Rikishi.
Have you seen Total Divas, dude?
No, I don't mean that. I mean, she's married to Tyson Kidd, and he's such a fucking ass. But
yeah. Oh, you beat me to it. All right. Let's go back to the actual matchup itself. Oh, sorry about that.
Fuck.
You know what? I want to care about this matchup, but the Usos, no matter who the Usos are in the ring with, it seems like they have the exact same match over and over. At this point, I'm just bored of the Usos. You know, they're not a bad tag team. They're a great tag team, but they don't have the longevity that tag teams that I grew up with had. And I'm not blaming them. Yeah.
They're not a Hardy or an Edge. They're not even Dudley boys. I think the Dudleys had more of a staying power than they did. And the problem with the Usos at the moment is they're kind of one-dimensional. No matter like they keep trying to shoehorn Naomi into storylines with them, and it's not working. Because the team just doesn't seem... They gel, they're really good in the ring, they just don't really have that much charisma when they're performing.
I just find them unimaginative, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's the problem, and I think that the problem as well is they don't get put in matches that these other teams were in, like,
ladder matches and tables matches, TLC matches.
Exactly. They need gimmick matches to help them get even further over, which is a shame. I think with champions like Edge and Christian, they didn't need that. I love their promos. I remember the one where Mick Foley forcing them to compete, and Christian was throwing up in the toilet, and he's like, "Are you okay, man?" He's like, "Oh, he's got this big bug," and then Foley's looking over the stall, and Christian's going and like pouring soup into the loo. And he just looks up.
I know what matchup you're talking about. That was Unforgiven 2000. That was their cage matchup. Yeah. I remember that matchup. That was a great match.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these guys don't have anything going for them. They really don't have a gimmick other than they're twins. I mean, it's going to guarantee that they'll probably never get broken up because why? They don't have enough of neither one has a personality amongst themselves to warrant being broken up. But at the same time, I don't care. And I hate saying that because I like Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. I think those guys are probably going to elevate this matchup slightly, but not enough for me to really invest anything into it. And at this point, it's gone so far with them having the belts. It's not a matter of who's going to finally dethrone them. It's a matter of who cares. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, I could sit here right now and say that Tyson Kidd and Cesaro are probably going to win the belts.
They should do. I think they deserve it. But the problem is they're going to need a good face foil to kind of bounce off of. And the problem, there's only one face team on the bloody roster at the moment, which is the Usos.
Yeah.
And
I think if there's going to be a tag team that wins against the Usos, and I hate saying this because I think these guys have kind of been, a bit of a flop as of late. You know where I was going. Yeah.
LOD 2015.
Oh, Jesus Christ, they don't even have that.
Well, here's the thing.
They need Sonny. They need Sonny, like, half naked with them. Or some diva half naked with them.
I have a way to work all three of these guys, because it's all three of these guys are going to work together. I think the Usos and Kidd and Cesaro are going to have a little mini feud, trade the belts back and forth. Usos will come out on top. Then the Ascension will slot in, and then the Ascension will go back and forth with the belts, and then repeat. We'll see the Ascension get the belts, and then Kidd and Cesaro chase the belts.
They just need to be more imaginative with the storylines as well when it comes to these teams. They need to push them, into proper matches.
Well, they need more than... Here's what they need. They need more than 3 of them.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, like, on NXT, I was, trying to show my brother how great this pay-per-view was, and a lot of it was because of booking. Like, you had, like, the Women's Championship, for instance. You had... Charlotte defending in singles matches against certain divas, and then they kind of rounded her reign off with a 4-person match. It made it work so well because these guys faced each other before, but they had that big gimmick match to kind of blow it off. And that's where I think the problem is. They don't have that big match to kind of blow it off. Hell, you know what? A great gimmick match which worked previously. What was that one where they did that kind of that round robin battle royal, where you had the
Scramble?
Championship Scramble. They could do that with the tag titles.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. And just
that would be a mess.
No, I don't think it would be. I think you'd have all the teams.
Yeah,
in there.
I mean, you'd have to have, because the Scramble had, it would just essentially just be a tag team. Would it be? It wouldn't be tag team turmoil. It would be like a tag
tornado
team
tag.
Tornado tag match. 4 guys in the ring at one point in time. Whoever gets the tag, they tag their partners. It would just be a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
I just think there's the way they have to do it. They have to find more than three viable tag teams.
Yeah.
In their tag team division. And I'm sorry, people, the New Day isn't one of them.
The New Day has...
Very quickly...
that team is jackknifed. And they had such a good idea, and they kind of just destroyed it.
Was it really that great of an idea, though?
Well,
Not
had
really.
they decided to turn them into these, disgruntled, angry guys that were pissed that they weren't getting their due, it could have worked.
Yeah, I mean, but
nope.
I think once national political events happened, it wasn't bad taste to have the angry black man gimmick. When an angry black man shot a police officer in New York City because reasons.
Well, no, the angry black man didn't shoot the police officer. It was the other way around.
The angry police officer shot the black man.
No, I'm talking about the guy. I'm talking about the guy from Baltimore that drove to Brooklyn and shot 2 fucking cops in New York City in fucking cold blood.
Oh, did that just happen?
He absolutely murdered him.
That happened a couple months ago.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was right after the Eric Garner thing.
It was right after
Ferguson and Ferguson and
exactly. I think once if Ferguson, they could have done it after Ferguson because people would have gotten over it. But I think once that happened and it took that whole situation to another level, the angry black man or Nation of Domination version 2.0 had no chance of coming back.
It should have happened.
Yeah. By the way, I do love that. I was gonna say I do love that. That's the line that WWE won't do. I mean, with all the tasteless things that they do, jingoism. We got no problem playing off that homophobia.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. But
Vince
race
McMahon
relations,
being the
oh,
father
that's
of Stephanie McMahon's baby.
incest. Yeah, they've done that as well.
Yeah,
Well,
she
no,
even talks.
that was an idea that Vince had.
No, she talks about this on the McMahon DVD, which I just sat
Yeah,
there
Well,
and
no, they
went,
never did it. They never did that angle.
I know, but she had to veto it. She vetoed the fucking
Yep.
thing. And then he was like, how about Shane? And then Shane was like, what the fuck? It's probably one of the reasons why he decided to
think
leave the company.
I think the only storyline that they've ever come closest with that, it would probably either be a tie between the storyline with Chaz and what's her name from the early 90s, well, the late 90s, and I believe Paul Burchill.
Beaver cleavage thing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that came close. And then Paul and Katie Lee Burchill
was the other one.
I'm sold by the name alone.
Oh yeah, that incest gimmick, that didn't happen.
I think Dave, I think you might like Katie Lee Burchill. You should look her work up. I think you might like her. She's British, and I think you would really dig her if you like. Paige,
I had my ankle broken for her.
You're a trooper, Burhan.
Yeah, I was accused of chatting her up.
Wait, what happened? What did you do?
She was the ex-girlfriend of a gentleman by the name of Alex Shane. Hi, Alex. If you're listening to this, fuck you. He basically...
The list of people who are angry at you is quite long, isn't it, Mr.
Yeah,
Burhan?
he basically pulled me aside and said... Because I said something like, hey, how's it going? You know, my name's Mike, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, by the way, that's my best line. And as a joke, it was nothing else. And I was talking to her saying about how amazing she is in terms of the females in the industry. Because I followed her career rather vigorously. And you know, we talked a little bit, and he goes, if you two want to switch numbers, and I was like, I'm not going to do that, she's your girlfriend, you know what I mean? We knew that she was dating Alex, and he had no problem asking us to go to the strip club to see her dance, just saying. Yeah, I know, and which I didn't want to do, because I admired her as a women's wrestler. I didn't want to go in there to the strip club and watch her take her tartars out. No offense.
I would have.
Same here.
I had a lot more respect for her. I still do. And he then got his back up about it, because he then got another wrestler to kind of injure me in the ring during a match, and it hurt my ankle. My ankle was basically to the effect where I shouldn't have been working my next match, but I did. He also took offence to the fact that Eddie Guerrero requested to work with me in a dark match when I was working Crystal Palace, which I never asked for. You know, he came in and said, hey, I've got this guy for you to work with, sit there, have you got your boots? I was like, yeah, I've got my boots. Comes in Eddie Guerrero. And, you know, one of the freaking greatest moments of my life. And still better than anything. And he...
Damn!
Yeah, and you know, I took a choke slam the next night, tore my ankle off the bone, and it was against doctor's orders. Doctor told me to sit it out, you know, wait a month to go back to the ring. I would have been wrestling by now still. I would have been working Japan. I would have been working Mexico. So am I a bit sour? Yes, I am. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, Alex, fuck you. You twat.
And
For
on
those
that,
of you
we
in
want
North
to move on to
America,
the
he
next.
means twat.
No, but it's you know,
On that,
he got his comeuppance. Karma came. He got himself injured by an American wrestler who was basically told that he shouldn't be working independents because the guy had some credibility. And he was cheap. He decided to bring him over to feud with him, and the guy gave him a power driver and broke his neck. So
was this Kevin
Damn.
Steen? Please say it was Kevin Steen.
it wasn't Kevin Steen. It was some no-name dude who doesn't work anymore because people realised that he was shit. So.
Oh, okay. You were talking about him as being the bad wrestler. I thought you were talking about the guy that you were mad at.
No,
I'm like, okay,
Alex.
never
Alex
mind.
wasn't. Alex was pretty good as a wrestler. He was just lazy. He wanted all the star power and fame of being in the WWE. He was just lazy. He wanted to build a wrestling brand. He was just lazy and kept giving himself the championship or people that he knew. It was you don't book a company like that, and that's one of the main issues. And this is for another story and another tirade. Because I'm in a foul mood, I've basically just sat there and shat all over him. You know, he has the right to basically come at me. And, you know, my number, if you send me an email, Alex, on michaelburhan@nerdgenius.com, you can come on the show and defend yourself. I don't think you will. I don't even think you'll listen to this podcast. But, as far as I'm concerned, I didn't deserve that shit. So fuck you.
And on that note, let's move on to the next matchup, unless anybody needs to speak their piece about the Usos versus...
Just give me a second, because I need to use my piece and take a massive slash.
You mean the Snorsos? Yeah, the Usos, as I said, talented wrestlers. I just don't think that they should be champions any time soon. I think Cesaro and Kid should capture the belts, just for the fact that these two are workhorses. They've got a rather credible team, and I think this is going to be a great match as long as no one picks up the mic and starts talking.
Yeah, I think the belt should go to Team Swiss Cats.
Yeah, I do so too.
Is that the team name? Because if that's the team name, that's the greatest team name.
It's the name that I came up with, but it should be their name, Team Swiss Cats.
Yeah, at one point they were going to be called the Brass Ring Club.
Nice.
Believe that.
I'm okay with that. I mean, Swiss Cats is funny, but I'm fine with that. Nice little dig at the IWC, I suppose. But let's see. Let's go on to the next one. Bad News Barrett against Dean Ambrose for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. I think it'd be a better trophy to fight against if they fought it for like $5 in a Big Mac value pack or something. But that's just me.
You're not impressed with the value of the Intercontinental title anymore? Like the Intercontinental title doesn't have any value anymore to you?
Not anymore.
I mean, I think Dean Ambrose could be a guy that could certainly raise the public opinion of the Intercontinental title.
I think
that's what they're going to do.
Title. Yeah, he'll probably.
That's what I think they're going to do. I think this is what they're going to do. They're going to put the title on Dean Ambrose, and that's just going to be. He's going to have that until it's his time.
He's going to be the Macho Man, basically. He's going to do what they should have done with Reigns.
They're going to... You know what? Here's the thing. Even if that's the case, how many times have we seen this happen where some very, this young upstart gets the Intercontinental title and either A, does nothing with it, or B, just gets beaten on a constant basis? It's almost like they believe that if we put the title on you, that's good enough. We can beat you as much as we want, and it's okay because you're the Intercontinental title. I mean, there's a reason why there's a hashtag champs or chumps out there on Twitter. It's because they treat the actual champions like garbage. And if that's going to be the case, why does the Intercontinental title matter anything? I mean, we're so far removed from the days of Razor Ramon and Jeff Jarrett and Chris Jericho and guys that had good long, memorable title runs, that it means garbage at this point. And I hate to say that. I mean, because I want the
titles, though. It's not the titles, it's the booking. That's the problem. And I think the problem is you've got the talent, but Vince doesn't get behind people and push them. He has people in his ear saying, "Oh, that guy's no good. I'll just job this guy out." It's one of the reasons why Justin Gabriel quit the company. If you want to make sure that a title's credible, you've got to push talent towards that championship title. Even the Warrior had a credible run because they pushed him. They gave him credible challenges. They gave him guys like Ravishing Rick Rude. They gave him guys like the Honky Tonk Man. They gave him people to face. When they had Steamboat versus Savage, there was two guys vying for that belt. You need to allow these guys to, even if guys that have no fucking interest in, put them in the mid-card division and allow them to go in there and face these guys. No one believes Rusev's a credible champion because he's not. He's not facing anyone for the United States Championship. You've got a huge pool of guys that you could put on this title. Hell, I would have even been for putting the title on Cesaro. When after his WrestleMania win last year. You gotta give these guys a chance, and the only way to do that is to push them. It's not rocket science. It happened. Next has like 3 championships, and all those titles seem more credible than the WWE championships at this point. And it's because
It's because Triple H isn't running the WWE.
It's
Vince.
not that. It's because they're in highly competitive matches. They're in storylines where they allow these people to give their time and effort to make these titles worth something. They've been put in matches that are spectacular. Fuck the gimmick pay-per-views. Stop doing gimmick pay-per-views and allow these gimmick matches to be the final stop in these championship runs. If Dean Ambrose versus Barrett ends in a cage match, great. That will be their final match. Don't keep throwing gimmick matches at them to make it worth a grain of salt, because it's not. You know?
Well, this matchup I don't think is going to help that. I think this is it's going to be a great matchup. Honestly, I don't know where they're going to go with this, and I'm dead serious. I mean, you would think they would want to keep Dean Ambrose strong because, well, you know what? Never mind, because they for some reason Dean Ambrose has lost way more matches than he needs to, and Barrett just came back. You know, they just put the belt on him. I could see a situation where they just have Barrett beat Dean Ambrose.
Or Barrett will end up retaining from using some shenanigans, and Ambrose and him will culminate at WrestleMania, where Ambrose gets the final victory.
You're giving WWE way too much credit on that, Burhan.
Well, I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to be Ambrose's WrestleMania moment. I think Fastlane in itself is going to be treated as a pit stop, in a sense. It's going to be used as a way to further each of these storylines. None of these storylines will be completed at this pay-per-view, which is where we have a problem, because pay-per-views aren't supposed to be doing that. There's only one sort of pairing that managed to do that throughout the year, and that was Dusty versus Flair in WCW, around the times of the NWA, should I say. And that was because it meant a lot more, and they allowed to further the storyline by having the Horsemen involved, by having certain situations where the deck was stacked against Dusty or against Flair, but more in Dusty's favour. And it worked, and it managed to draw a hell of a lot of money for the territory in those days. The reason, by the way, you can tell I've been watching WWE rivalries. The reason why it's not working at the moment is because this pay-per-view is being shooed in as like, oh, look, it's a great pay-per-view. It's got Bryan versus Reigns in it, and everything else is just filler. There's no build. That's the problem.
Like I said, I don't have any faith that WWE would actually build a rivalry between these two. I mean, that I saw proof of that with the Wyatt feud with him and Bray Wyatt. That went nowhere fast
because Bray kept winning every fucking match. It was like watching Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels. You know, it doesn't matter how great the match looks. You got to trade wins. That's how the storyline should go. And you know, or unless you're doing Tommy Dreamer versus Raven, where Raven was beating him and Dreamer was the kind of desperate to get that win. He kept stacking the deck, and Dreamer kept trying to overcome, but was so close. You know, they didn't even do that where Ambrose got the definitive victory at the end. You know, if he got the final victory, we would still be sitting there talking about it and say, oh, they should build matches more like Ambrose versus Wyatt. You've got to give that payoff. It's booking 101. There has to be that payoff that gets the crowd going. If the heel keeps winning, you're just going to be like, oh, fuck's sake. Because the matches were spectacular. They did some amazing matches together.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been talking nonstop about this, so I'll get back to us in a second to give our thoughts. But Brandon, this is your show, so what do you think about this matchup? BNB versus Ambrose.
Yeah, just like I said, I think this is the platform for them to put the Intercontinental title back to prominence. I think Dean Ambrose could be the guy that's going to be doing it. I think there's enough people that could play foil to him in the mid-card where he could carry them through a program. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, that's two people right there that after they're done with their tag team run that they could absolutely work a program with. I mean, still think a rivalry with him and Barrett has some juice to it beyond that. You could put Luke Harper in there. Let's see. I mean, you name it. I think Ambrose could work them, and Ambrose, I think the Intercontinental title works better with a heel chasing a face, I guess you could say. Yeah. When the face is strong. So, yeah.
Real strong.
Real strong. So I like Dean Ambrose for this. Like I said, I think it's Dean Ambrose's job until it's his time to be called in to be face Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns.
And you know what, WWE, if you're listening, big long reign for Ambrose. Give him a good reign.
I'm talking like a year. This could be like a year, like, you know.
Give him that reign.
Or at least 6 months.
This is the stepping stone. You've got to make this title the stepping stone for whoever holds it. This has got to be their way to the World Championship. And if you don't do that, then you're just going to end up... The title won't get elevated and the champion won't get elevated. And Ambrose put out the fact that he wants to be that guy, you know, who has his picture with the title. And I think he wants to, in his promo, it shows that he wants to bring the lineage back to that title. And everyone has said it. Everyone from fucking Christian to Miz to everybody who sat there and went, oh, I want to bring back the lineage to the IC belt. Make it worth something.
Nick, you got anything you want to add to that?
Go on, Brandon.
I think this is going to be a good match. I'm going to say Ambrose goes over. First the title, then the titties.
Kitty master.
I love it, like, Nick, I love it when your contributions to the show are nothing but, like, swift little, like, fucking jabs. That's, like, fucking perfect. Like, I just love it. I love it. Not saying I don't love it when you go into long-winded arguments, but just, like, swift little fucking jabs like that. Fucking perfect. Titles over titties. What's up?
First the title, then the titties.
Alright, is Dave back, by the way?
Yes.
Dave.
Yeah, Dave's been back. I've just been polite and trying to...
Opinion.
Alright.
Ambrose is going to win.
Barrett versus Ambrose.
Ambrose is going to win. Absolutely no doubt. I agree that it's trying to bring something back to the credibility of this title. But my question would be, when did it slip away?
Ooh,
It's been a slow slide within, I'd say, the last 5 years.
You know what? I will say it basically happened.
Because it's the main title, and
It
people generally
happened
don't
when
seem to give a
Eric
shit about it.
Bischoff merged the title with the World Heavyweight Champion, where he said, "One show, one champion."
Yeah, it really hasn't
Well,
been
I
the
hope
same
it does.
since it was brought back.
Yeah, and the reason being, though, it's not the talent, and I'm going to say this like a million times, it's not the talent, it's the booking. You want to book a title strong, you book a strong champion. So shall we continue?
Real strong.
Real strong.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Strong.
Let's keep going because I think we're
Alright.
heading to the meat of the pay-per-view now. I think.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that
this
meat
is
in
gonna
your
be
mouth.
this will be the 9:30 main event easily. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan, singles match. Winner will face Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 31.
This is the only match of the night I have genuine interest in, to be perfectly
I will
honest.
guarantee you this is going to be a very smash mouth type match. It's going to be very physical because that's the style that I think Reigns is kind of more comfortable in. So you're going to see these two go at it. Secondly, I've got a funny feeling that it's going to end in a draw. Because there has been some mumblings that Bryan is going to be added to the card at WrestleMania in the main event.
I don't. I think Daniel Bryan is going to give Roman Reigns the best matchup of his career. I think he's definitely going to make Reigns look strong for Brock Lesnar. But I think they're going to stick with their plans this year. I think it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. I think Bryan's going to play a factor in that matchup at WrestleMania, but I don't think it's going to be a direct factor. I don't think he's going to be the third man. I don't see WWE deviating from it, no matter how much people give him flack. He gave Roman Reigns flack. They've got their plan. It's not going to be like last year where they completely had to do a 180 because of the fans. They're not going to let that happen again. Roman Reigns is their chosen one, no matter if we don't like it or not. And they're hoping that Daniel Bryan can really get this guy over, you know. And I think Daniel Bryan would be more than happy to. He got his spot.
Does he spend all
What was
day
that?
working hard on the go and the hands on the clock keep spinning too slow? Because
I
can't
know.
wait.
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to give you credit, but I don't know where that reference is from.
I can't wait
That's
to be alone with my baby tonight.
I mean, you said a positive thing about Jeff Jarrett, and you don't recognize "My Baby Tonight"
Yeah.
reference.
Oh, I'm
recognize that.
pre country star Jeff Jarrett.
That was-
I got into Jeff Jarrett
Oh,
when he
okay.
came back.
That was but when
You're
that was when he came back.
You're
That was
slap
when
nuts.
that was
You're
when
into
the road.
slap nuts, Jeff Jarrett.
That was the Road Dog.
Chosen one, baby.
Man, my baby's got me wrapped around a little finger. Oh, no, we're gonna even go into that.
All right, please stop.
Yeah,
please stop. Please stop.
Hey,
Like I said, I think Bryan would be more than happy to help get Reigns over. I mean, and here's something a lot of people don't realize with Daniel Bryan. For a lot of fans who think, oh, it's unfair, they're pushing him down. He works hard. Daniel Bryan has had a very lucky career. He really has done a lot more than.
I call him the luckiest man in professional wrestling.
but his career isn't lucky. His career is because he got himself over. I think calling him lucky is demeaning his career.
I don't think.
I'm not demeaning his talent.
I'm not demeaning his talent.
I'm just saying for what he has done, for what he has accomplished, being who he is, former WWE champion, main eventing WrestleMania, smoking hot wife, for it to be an inch
World
for him.
heavyweight champion as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
United States champion.
Yep.
From a guy who was fired for choking Justin Roberts with a tie. But
exactly.
again,
For being a guy who was an indie darling. I mean, like he is.
But his
the
career, though,
Jay-Z.
his
He's
career,
the Jay-Z of the independent
is
wrestling
very
scene.
fan-driven. And this is what I'm saying. They need to start listening to what the fans are saying. Otherwise, Reigns is... And this is where I've got an issue, and I think the company is going to end up regretting bringing Reigns up. Reigns has the talent and has the tools to make it as a main event player. Not yet. It's too soon. And you can tell he's a greenhorn who's getting shoved down people's throats. If it was organic, people would go for it. It's not organic. You can tell with the fact where the entire audience goes for Bryan and only say about 20% of the audience is actually going for Reigns. That's not
But
your world
they were
champion.
going
That's not your
for
John
it.
Cena.
Here's the thing, though. They were going for it when it wasn't being shoved down their throats. So there's no,
But it's anti-establishment. It's exactly what Vince was like. It's exactly why people push Stone Cold to the moon.
There's nothing stopping him from coming back. I think people need to realize that.
That's true, but you've got to allow him to organically come up to the main event. Otherwise, what's the fucking point?
I think Daniel Bryan's going to do that, though. I think this match with Daniel Bryan is going to show that, oh crap, Roman Reigns can work.
It's going to make it worse. Trust me.
I think people's reactions are good. Go for it, Miguel.
I was going to say I see, and this is going to be very controversial. What I'm about to say. I think the future of 2015 is going to be Reigns versus Bryan, with Bryan playing the heel. I think post WrestleMania, I could see them turning Bryan heel and kind of helping get Reigns over as a babyface. And like I said, I'm fine with that. I mean, as a face, Bryan has done he's pretty much gone to the mountaintop as much as he could. I think at this point, the only thing left to keep him relevant is to turn him heel and have him help put Reigns over. It keeps him in the main event. It still keeps him as, one of the big stars of the company. He doesn't need to be the biggest babyface ever. He can... He works both ways, He can be a great heel that the fans can get behind booing,
It's not who he wants to be. It's who the fans want him to be. That's the thing. The fans want him to be that guy. And
what if they totally go full Russo on us and they swerve and they put Daniel Bryan with the Authority?
Again, that's like putting Austin with McMahon. It didn't work.
Oh God.
It didn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is because you're trying to force it. When Austin joined McMahon, it forced it. They stripped everything that made him Stone Cold. It was funny, but the fans were just like, "Fuck this shit."
Okay, they do that to Daniel Bryan. They he shaves the beard, he cuts his hair, puts on the suit.
It won't work, and
that might go too far.
Yeah. The fans would kill it. The fans would kill it, and they'll blame Bryan.
That's what they want, though.
No, but they'll blame
the fans. They
Bryan.
fucking turn on him. Boo! How could you shave your beard?
Turn on him.
Boo.
They won't turn on him. They will turn on the product.
Think so?
It's like when Austin.
I don't think so. You think so? You really think people are gonna stop watching because Daniel Bryan shaves his beard?
Yeah, they will.
And cuts his hair.
It's like Samson, though. He shaves his beard, he loses power.
Yeah, people turn on.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, go on, Miguel.
it's the wrong kind of heat.
Yes.
It's what we in the business. It's what I hate saying we in the business because I'm not in the business, but it's what people call X-Pac heat. It isn't we hate this person because they're good at being a heel. It's we hate this person because it's we just hate this person. It's not we want to see this guy get beaten up. We just don't want to see this happening. And the problem with Austin turning heel is that it was at a bad time. They didn't have any real baby faces to put him against that were credible. They kind of slotted him into being the the heel, leader of the alliance, and in that mess of a storyline.
And again, that didn't work. Why? Because he wasn't getting the proper heat that he wanted. They did everything. And the funny thing is, in the whole entire storyline of the Alliance, people weren't behind the WWE. They wanted to see it die. That's not good.
Look, I'll say this. You can turn Bryan heel, but making him a member of the Authority would go too far. You would lose a lot of fans. It would break the suspension of disbelief.
Think so? You don't think it's like a Hogan thing, like when Hogan joined the NWO?
He was a cool heel. Bryan wouldn't be a cool heel. Yeah. Bryan would basically people would hate the idea, and they wouldn't.
You don't think
rebel.
You don't think he's a talented enough a performer on the microphone?
It's not that they would rebel against the idea. They will rebel. It's like what happened. Do you remember when he was a heel and Sheamus kicked him in the fucking face, and people basically destroyed Sheamus's title run?
Yeah, the best kind of heel for Daniel Bryan would be the Bret Hart 1997 kind of heel, where he thinks he's better than everybody else and he thinks he deserves more stuff and he's basically whining around. I think that's probably the best type of heel Daniel Bryan.
He kind of already did that in his earlier.
You know what he would be?
What
would be awesome if they paired him with Heyman. They paired him with Heyman because Heyman, he became a Paul Heyman guy, and he was like anti everybody else.
He needs to look out for his own. I mean, because there was a. I did hear a rumblings on the internet that Brock Lesnar is not going to join the UFC, and he is going to be with WWE beyond WrestleMania.
I just don't think he's going to be a champion at WrestleMania.
Yeah. And if that's the case, if he's still going to be with Brock, I don't want him to be the mouthpiece for Daniel Bryan because
not the mouthpiece. I think associated. That's the thing.
Yeah, but
there's a difference.
Here's the thing. When Heyman was associated with Cesaro, it was all about Brock Lesnar. Every promo that Heyman cut was putting over Brock Lesnar first and then Cesaro. I don't want to see that with Daniel Bryan. I don't want to see, I've got Daniel Bryan here, but, I also have my other client, Brock Lesnar. No, I don't want that.
I think, what would be great? If Lesnar became Bryan's bodyguard. Like, Paul and Lesnar were behind him. Like, they were doing what they would do with Rollins. Because this is what an idea that was kind of, I thought about after, like, Heyman did that, that great promo on SmackDown with Rollins, when Rollins was going to curb stomp him to the fucking, like, infinity. And he goes that Brock, he's the kind of man that Heyman would get behind, and that Brock Lesnar, if he decides to give up the championship, would get behind. I could see it. Brock in the bodyguard role, there would be no one stopping the champion. So if Braun was a heel champion,
I just don't see Brock doing that. Just
yeah, that would imply that Brock
big monster.
Yeah, that would imply that Brock
don't see this big monster.
No, but he's the guy that has the one-time match every few pay-per-views, like he's doing at the moment.
Yeah,
but
because he's a star.
Yeah,
that's
but
not because he's lazy or anything like that. It's because he knows what he's worth.
No, but it's not just that. He says he wants to work more dates, but they won't pay him the money for it. I'm just saying it would be great, and then
he should come down off his $500,000 per appearance fee.
No. I'm saying that you would have him, bring him in as an attraction, kind of to have the big money match every now and then, but then have him in a role like when he does make that Raw appearance, that he's there, that he's lurking in the background ready to like freaking defend whoever the champion is. That would be, imagine having that behind you. That's unlimited potential, storyline wise.
I just don't see it just making sense of Brock Lesnar having Brock Lesnar being this fucking Attila the Hun, Genghis Khan level conqueror of the WWE, and then him being Daniel Bryan's dog. Bryan's insurance policy.
Yeah,
worked
Brock
for Rick
Lesnar is
Rude.
too good for that role. Like that's something you would do
right now.
That's something
Too good for that role right now. A year or two,
Yeah.
keep Brock Lesnar off TV for a year or two or something like that. Yeah, then bring him back.
They would never do
A
that.
bodyguard for Daniel Bryan would be like a Baron Corbin or a Bull Dempsey. Like that's the role that you would put a guy like that in, not Brock Lesnar. That's overkill. But yeah, let's go around the horn. I say Reigns is going to probably go over. Burhan, you're saying Bryan might go over on this one, or it might be shenanigans?
No, I say shenanigans resulting in the two of them basically having a what's the word?
They spend the next four. They spend the
It'll be a
next 3
tie.
weeks.
It'll be
deciding this.
something that happens that results in Bryan going to Mania.
The referee will they'll do a referee heart attack gimmick.
Yeah,
or
like a
some
ref
shit.
stoppage, or I'm calling it maybe even a Seth Rollins run-in with the Authority beating the both of them down.
Yeah, because the Authority doesn't want anybody facing Brock Lesnar.
Pretty much, they want Rollins in the role.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that Brandon, you agree with Burhan. It's going to be shenanigans.
I see. I don't know. I'm really conflicted about this. I know we're going to see a good match because, and I'm with you. I think Daniel Bryan is going to be the guy that's going to elevate Roman Reigns, and at least the people that are chirping about him not being the in-ring competitor that's ready for the main event push. I think after this match with Daniel Bryan, they'll stop chirping.
Yeah.
He hasn't sold over the people on the microphone yet, and I think we're gonna need this thing. I could go either way. That's what I say. I don't
He
know
likes
what I'm
it
gonna
both
say,
ways.
I do like it both ways.
Oh, you
But
whore.
ultimately, though, as I'm saying this, trying to come to a decision, I think Roman Reigns wins because, like you, Miguel, I don't see them deviating from the course this year. I just think now is the time to make Roman Reigns. Let's stick with that. Stick with the plan. Don't deviate from the plan.
We make him look strong.
They need to make Roman. They need Roman Reigns. They need somebody to step in now. Somebody new now. So let's go with this guy. If this is going to be the guy, let's make this guy now.
Dave?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Brendan there. I want it to be Reigns. If it goes to Daniel Bryan and then he ends up at WrestleMania, I don't really float my boat. I think.
In either way,
I'm
I think we
behind.
win. I think fans though, like if
Oh no, I know
like,
the fans
they
like
have-
Daniel Bryan. I'm just saying from my perspective, I'd rather see Reigns there. To me, that would be more exciting a direction to go in.
Nick?
If they did get trigger shy and they're not going to pull the trigger on Reigns, I mean, we do win because Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar is going to be an absolutely fantastic once in
It'll
a
be an immense
lifetime
match.
kind of match.
Nick?
Yeah.
Yep.
Your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with my gut, and I'm thinking they're gonna throw, there's gonna be a triple threat at Mania. Of course, I think that's a long shot because it might be where we're gonna stick with our plan, screw the fucking fans, and there be some screwball type, finish where either both guys get disqualified or it's gonna be some kind of double pin or something, leading to the triple threat. So
We're going to get a double knockout.
Did we talk about Cena versus Rusev? Is that going to be the main event?
That's
Not
the
yet.
main event. Yeah, that's the main event coming up. We've still got the breather matchup that's going to be there.
Piss break.
Nikki Bella, the champion, against Paige for the WWE Divas title.
I'm going to know what I think about that by taking a piss break myself. I'm going with Paige because why not? And also, I probably might factor the match. Haven't decided yet.
I think the match should be called off because the only person in the world who should be allowed to touch Paige's face is me. Sorry.
We said I wanted to touch her face.
Yeah, make sure you mute your microphone, Burhan. We don't want to hear that.
Yeah, please.
I-
You're not Brandon.
please.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't care. I mean, it's. I think I care more about the Authority matchup at the beginning than I do this matchup. WWE has given me nothing to care about.
I
these.
care
I
about
don't care about
something.
this whole event.
You know what? They cock teased me when they stole Paige's clothes on Raw. I wanted her naked.
All right, come on.
Son of a bitch.
Come on, all right. Come on now. Let's. I mean,
Creepy
you're really
Paige.
dumb if you really.
Road to
Yeah,
Australia.
we're really all
Damn it,
dumb.
Burhan.
I know. I mean, I'm the creepy Page moment guy of the week guy, and come on, even I knew that was a tease. They weren't gonna actually give us naked Page.
But there was hope, Brandon. There was hope.
There was slight
this
hope.
isn't-
There was slight hope.
This isn't 1999 we're talking about.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I know. I wish.
I'm
she
going with
was-
Paige,
like I
but
said-
I'll be perfectly honest. I'm just going to watch it to look at her. I'm not going to give a shit about any of the wrestling.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, I don't even have to give my opinion on this, and I think my opinion is widely known. I can't go against Page in anything. So.
No,
But
yeah,
I'm gonna
I'm
just
taking
say this,
Paige.
my-
I think
as
it's time.
Yeah, Nikki
Oh,
Bella's
go ahead,
time is
Brandon.
up at the top. No, Nikki Bella's time is up
Yep,
at the
it's
top. I
time
absolutely
for-
agree with you with that.
Nikki loses, LOL.
Hashtag.
You know, you say that.
Yep.
You know, you guys say that, but let's humor this. Let's say that is the case, and Paige gets the belt. Where do you go from there? Where else can you go from there? I know that everybody keeps saying, "Oh,
Dinner?
Charlotte, everything else."
I'll happily take her to dinner afterwards. That's where I'd go.
Charlotte, maybe you put Brie Bella. Maybe it's like Bella on Page action, and like my slash fiction goes like over the fucking moon. It's like you're reading my secret.
Oh my
WWE
god, it's 50
Diva
Shades of
slash
Paige.
fiction. Oh my! Oh.
No, there's only
Wait a
one
minute,
shade.
just-
White. Bright white.
Oh.
It's the
And
only
well,
shade.
and then slightly shades of red after I get done. What? Sorry.
Just go in and
Sorry.
takes 50 faps
Sorry.
of Paige.
All right, guys, down, boys.
I was gonna say,
Anyway.
my creepy Page moment of the week. She did pull off the Bertha Faye outfit very fucking well. I mean, good God. Well done, my dear.
It was
well
a
done.
unique sight. But yeah, you know what? Like I said, there's where else do you go with either one of these? It's kind of the problem I have with the Divas division is there's no growth. Even when they had probably their biggest feud going, which was Paige versus AJ, that went nowhere. It seems like they don't have a direction that they want to go with the Divas division,
Don't you mean
and that's
the biggest
kind of
feud of Nikki versus Brie Bella, which was a continuation of Bryan versus the Authority?
no that
Yeah,
well
right.
that match that was basically Nikki versus Brie. I'm talking about in terms of like the title. You know, AJ versus Paige was probably the biggest matchup they've had so far, and it went nowhere. It's like
They haven't got the
where
talent
where
to...
do they?
The roster isn't talented enough, and I'm sorry to say it. Like the two divas that could work, you had Paige, AJ. What's her name?
Page versus
Naomi?
Blue Pants.
Oh, Blue Pants is awesome.
Jesus.
Who's
I'm
the
sorry.
Needs to
Shout out to
stay in
Leva
NXT.
Bates.
I'm just trying
Yeah,
to think.
she needs to stay
Leva
in
Bates.
What was her name?
She needs to stay in NXT where she's over.
Like
Naomi,
Summer
are you
Rae,
talking about?
the fucking technical matches you could have with Summer Rae. I'm joking about that.
I know. I'm sorry. Were you seriously
Rae
about to
doesn't
say
have
Oh
that-
some
my
technical
god!
wrestling?
Guess what? The breaking
Listen,
news has
listen.
been on WWE.com. WWE
What?
addresses CM Punk allegations. In light of CM Punk's allegations regarding WWE's medical staff and the subsequent... This is all a fucking work. That bloody... Dr. Adam against CM Punk. WWE continues to have the utmost... Let me go. The utmost confidence in the ability and expertise of world-class team of physicians, including Dr. Ammon. Do you see
No, it's-
what they're doing? They're trying to generate buzz
You see the beast.
using this bullshit.
No, they're trying to turn around public opinion against them because
Yeah.
you know.
Because did you also
Punk's-
see the video they released?
Right, CM Punk claimed past November that during the Royal Rumble pay-per-view event on 26, he performed a baseball-sized purple lump located near the waistband of his tights. The investigation has shown the following. This is WWE's investigation, by the way. Air quote.
Yeah.
CM Punk did not discuss the alleged conditions with WWE's team of physicians and trainers, nor did he discuss it with anyone in talent relations department. Air quote. Subsequent WWE has no medical records documenting the alleged condition. Air quote. The first time WWE made aware of the alleged condition was when he received a letter from CM Punk's attorney, August 22nd, 2014, after WWE terminated his contract. Air quote. There is a clear video evidence on the Royal Rumble which allows us all to decide whether there is any appearance of a baseball-sized growth on CM Punk's back. This is petty. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Seriously. God, what a fucking joke. Sorry, this makes... They really like to make the fans look at them like a pile of idiots, don't they? What monkey went and put this on the website? What monkey allowed this to go on the site? Do you think
Joey
this is
Styles.
The administrator monkey.
And I'm serious about that because he runs WWE.com for WWE.
No, but do you think he was forced to put it on the site?
Probably.
I don't think Styles would be anti-Punk in this situation. I really don't. Especially with the nice things he said in ECW Exposed.
I don't think Styles went into business on him. I think this is probably WWE going, put this on the website.
Yeah.
We need to cover our bases.
Oh, this is so fucking petty. Oh, this really gets my back up. Brandon, what do you think of this, man? Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it's WWE's website. I'm sure it's just trying to save face before any sort of legal proceedings that might take place. Again, trying to run to the aid of their employee after somebody said some pretty damaging things about him. My thing is just, this is like time. Punk said these things in November, and now it's February, and they're just getting around to crafting it. They had, December and January to come up with a legal strategy and all this stuff, and this is what they're finally doing. Like, they're that far behind the 8 ball. Like, everybody's moved on from the Punk podcast for this point, and now WWE is just finally getting out ahead of everything, like almost 4 months later. That's what it is. I'm surprised that a multi-billion-dollar company is this far behind their...
I'm surprised that a multi-billion-dollar company has to play a pissing contest. This is like dealing with Fox News.
Oh man!
Sorry.
Oh, did you just puke there, Nick? It was like that was
no.
That sounded
you said one of Nick's trigger words is Fox News.
Yeah, I think he just calmed himself.
Yeah, Nick and I are like, I'm like slightly more restrained than my friend on this, but yeah, we're of the same mental and political mind.
I look at Fox News more like a soap opera.
I don't get this shit. I think this is ridiculous. I think any person who is a credible individual, like Punk, if this goes to court, I believe that Punk's attorney is going to make them look like a bunch of jackasses. And I think exactly what's happened here, this has made them look really, really petty. As a company.
I can sum it up in one statement.
Vince
what are you,
McMahon's
fucking children?
Yeah, they are. They really are. And this is Vince. This smells like Vince. This really does. Ugh. Just ridiculous.
So going back to what we're talking about,
this, we'd have to go and sit on the naughty step, but no.
Yeah,
give people lots of money and they can act like idiots and get away with it.
What I was alluding to, Miguel, you have Layla on there as well on the roster, another worker. She can work. She can put on a decent match. They don't have many women on the roster that can work. Aside from I think Brie can probably do a good match, not an amazing match, but she can do a good match. I don't see if there's anyone on the roster that could go toe to toe with any of the wrestlers, like Paige, for instance. You need.
I
think Brie Bella can hold her own.
Brie is no slouch. She at least tries. Like I said, she's genuine.
She's getting that transitive property.
She's got like a good, positive kind of wrestling repertoire. She's much better than Nikki, aka Tits McGee.
She uses some of her husband's
Cena.
moves.
The female Cena, yeah. I think that the fact that they have some talented females on the roster, but I can see why they don't focus on them, because a lot of them are just eye candy. and that's where I think NXT is kind of reinventing the wheel there, because they've got women who look fucking amazing, but can wrestle matches, and they've got great gimmicks as well. You know, come on, Bailey's inflatable arm flailing tube men. I love that.
You mean the one
Wacky
she
waving
stole from
inflatable arm flailing tube men?
Mm-hmm.
Emma? Didn't Emma have those first?
Wacky waving of arm inflatable tube man.
No, she had bubbles.
Yeah, she
Fucking
has
bubbles,
she
man.
she has bubbles and the weird arm thing, which I does she have like a disorder or something? Just wondering.
She's just Australian and they're naturally weird.
She looks like she should be
You'd
on
be
Neighbours.
naturally weird if you lived in a country where every fucking other thing could kill you.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yes.
Well, at least Australia churned out Hugh Jackman. But yeah, you've got enough women you've got women who are credible, but you have eye candy as well, and that's the problem. Like, you know, Alicia Fox, for instance, she should be able to put on a good match. She kind of doesn't, because she's foxy. Cameron,
I think Alicia Fox could
Commodore.
wrestle too. I think Alicia Fox is certainly, has come a long way in her 8 years in the WWE, so she could work a credible match. I just, you have to put her in there with credible people. One thing that got discussed on Total Diva, and I was going to say this, and the Black Lay Cool. I know this is really being totally racist and pejorative with this, but the Black Lay Cool with Alicia Fox and Cameron is a Divas gimmick that's absolutely like Money in the Bank, son. Money in the Bank. Black Lay Cool.
What does Eva Marie's
Black Lay Cool
purpose?
against Paige, bro. That's
What's
what I'm
Eva
telling you.
Marie's purpose apart from, her sexually confused husband?
She's that TV show basically.
Okay, so she because most of her stuff on that show, I see her and her sexually confused husband, Rosa Mendez, who she services Michael Hayes' needs, Summer Rae, who just looks really bad, but I don't really see a full roster of divas here. I see the NXT divas are a lot better. You've got Alexa Bliss, you've got Bayley, you've got Becky Lynch, who's, oh my god, she's like she's
Lady
like a
Sheamus.
female. Yeah, she's a female Sheamus. But
She's
I feel
Lady
really,
Sheamus.
I feel guilty.
She even sounds like him.
Yeah, I feel guilty for wanting to bang her.
It's really because you imagine if you would, and then all of a sudden you just she just grows the mustache and gets all of a sudden
Fella!
and she just goes, fella,
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
fella, oh, right there, fella, right there.
You're making me question my
Well,
sexuality, Brandon.
to be fair,
God.
guys, to be fair, guys, she wears long pants, so maybe she might already have the mustache. We don't know.
Well,
Not
downstairs
anymore,
mustache.
Not anymore.
You got Charlotte.
That's
You've got,
thank you for being obvious there, Burhan.
you got Charlotte as well, who's the daughter of Ric Flair. And I sat there, I was like, as long as she was just as slutty as her dad, that would make things easier for me. I'll be like, hey, Charlotte, can I get your autograph? Ooh, I didn't expect to get that with your autograph. You got Dana Brooke. I don't know who that one is. Devin Taylor. And we also have
I'm telling you,
JoJo.
blue pants.
Blue pants. And we have JoJo, who just stands there and looks pretty. And Carmella.
JoJo's gonna be a wrestler? I thought they
No,
squashed
she does like announcing for them. And then you have Carmella, who again is part of one of my favorite tag teams.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, I don't see Carmella lasting beyond that.
S
I think once
W A F D soft. Oh, I love that.
I should almost be offended on that because that's just basically
And
going
you
off of
can't
how people...
teach that. I love it. But yeah, again, the gimmicks are so volatile in there as well. They're very good. They've got gimmicks that really mesh well with their characters. Where I think the WWE's divas are kind of generic. You could just take one out, insert another. There's only a few divas that have their own personalities, like Paige or AJ or the Bella people. I still think they need a Bella brother. Ooh, they could be like the Dudleys.
No, whoa.
Oh God! No!
We've already done this joke.
Daniel,
already.
you can
already done
Daniel,
this joke
Daniel
already.
Bella. There we go.
I'm a Bella. You're a Bella. Wouldn't you like to be a Bella too?
Dances with Bella.
This joke already.
Sign guy Bella. Just have it as an all-female group.
Sign girl Bella.
Yeah, you can have Carmella come up and be Carmella Bella.
Oh, wow, this. See, I think if we were on the WWE creative staff, you and I.
Yeah, every time we make a joke,
Oh, Jesus.
Vince would probably take it seriously, and then it would happen.
Be like,
And
this,
we'll be like,
is, this
Yeah.
is genius. I'm like, oh fuck.
great,
we have to
I
yeah.
think this would be
make
why
this.
you aren't on the creative staff, to be fair.
Vince would be like, "My God, that's brilliant." We'd be like, "No, we were joking. We're being sarcastic. Don't take it
Give
for
him
real."
a raise!
Yeah, give those two a raise. Okay, we did nothing. And somehow me and Brandon end up booking Raw and SmackDown respectively. You know, those are the men with ideas.
Entirely through accidents.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Brandon.
We would come up with slightly better ideas than the ding dongs, though. Let's face it like that. You know,
That would be hilarious.
give
We
me
end up.
some credit.
Brandon's like, "Hey, maybe we should dress up two guys like hot dogs and call them the ding dongs," and then it happens.
Call him hot dog.
And they push him to the moon. The Ding Dongs win the WrestleMania Tag Team Championship Battle Royal. Oh God.
Are they having a WrestleMania Tag Team Battle Royal this year?
I think they're going to do
Sure,
the Andre the
probably.
Giant Battle Royal thingy, which is going to be the new gimmick match for WrestleMania.
Because that worked so well.
Hey, I
last
like
year.
that.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah, no, me and Nick, I'm with
Yep.
Nick on this. I'm
Pay
fine
tribute
with
to
it.
one of the best big men in wrestling.
But again,
Ever.
back to the Divas division. Piss break. That's my take on this. Nick.
Well, I
Yep.
mean, like I said, do we talking about Nikki Bella's comments now? Like,
Well, Brie Bella's comments.
oh, sorry, I got their comments. I
Yeah,
got them
there's
mixed
Boobs
up.
McGee is Nikki. Brie is the one that actually can wrestle because Daniel Bryan jizzed in her.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. If you watch Total Divas, that would be a problem. Is like,
What they're married, but he's celibate.
yes. Oh no, it was a huge thing. No, it was a huge thing. No, on an episode.
He's
that
married to a
Nikki got all
celibate.
Nikki got all up in Bree's shit because they were having unprotected sex, and she's like worried about her job.
Did he like when he comes? Does he go yes? Yes.
She's going to like
Yes!
Mark Carano, like the head of creative, and telling her these things, like telling him these things, like, oh yeah, my sister might get pregnant because he's only pulling out.
So can you talk to her
Jesus.
about that? Can you talk about? Do you mind if I tell you about my sister's personal life? Can we work it into a storyline? Imagine that turns into a storyline.
So
Brian
just in
doesn't
case
pull
my
out.
sister gets knocked
Oh,
up.
no.
Just in case my sister gets knocked up. Like, how does this affect my career? Fuck.
Nikki's with Cena, so she'll be just fine.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh
That was
God,
the point of the whole.
this is
whole
the reason
thing.
why I don't watch this show. I can't.
It's.
And yeah, Miguel, they
It's-
should really take the Divas division seriously after that comment.
So
This
yeah, I don't care who wins this matchup, honestly. Put the belt on Paige. Maybe they can bring up an NXT diva to feud with her, similar to what they did
should
with
just not even have the match and have Paige stand in front of the camera for 15 minutes. That
You
works
mean
for
bent
me.
over in front of the camera? That's what you're thinking, Dave, aren't you?
Fuck.
Road to restraining order.
Hashtag road to
Oh,
restraining
yeah,
order.
more.
I'm glad.
I was thinking more along the lines of how they started Flashdance. She could sit on a chair and pull that flush thing.
She's
there.
a maniac on the floor. and then she takes off the Paige costume and it's Sheamus.
God.
Oh my God.
And then Brandon's.
All right.
And it happens when Brandon's in the
pulling
middle
out
of it.
I'm pulling out of this tailspin, you guys. Is there anything else seriously that we want to say about this before we move
Wait,
on?
is your name Daniel Bryan? Because you just said you're pulling out.
Oh, you beat me to it.
You know what? Nobody gets anything else to say. Let's move on to the final matchup in this whole thing.
Please,
All right,
move
this-
on
Thank
to
you,
the-
Miguel, for being the smarter man in this.
Next week on Total
Thank
Divas.
you. Yeah. All right.
No, I
the
don't-
final matchup.
Never mind.
No, go ahead. You had something serious you were gonna say?
No, he didn't.
I was gonna say next week on Total Divas, more shit I don't give a shit about.
All right, you got it out of your system. Okay.
That's
now
what
let's
she
go on
said.
to the main event. Let's go on to the matchup that you know is going to main event, even though it really shouldn't. John Cena versus Rusev for the WWE United States belt. Surprising that it's actually for the belt, because I would think Cena was better than the U.S. title. I know this is leading to inevitably John Cena winning. Well, I don't want to see this. I mean, logic would dictate that you would have Cena lose clean to Rusev to build him up for the inevitable win against Rusev.
Shenanigans.
Yes, I think Rusev is going to win. I think it's going to be some type of shenanigans. I could see somebody getting involved. I don't know who. If they're going to set up this matchup is probably going to set up for whatever matchup Cena has. If still he's going to be against Rusev. But yeah, I don't see this being a clean win. I think Rusev will win. He'll retain. But it's going to be through disqualification somehow. Lana getting involved or something like that. I don't see Cena giving the rub to Rusev, is what I'm trying to say. And you know what?
Oh, fuck no.
Do you think he's going to pull out all the stops?
It's just, you know what? If those, any credible booker would try to get Rusev over with this matchup, but that's not the case. This is going to be basically to get Cena over. He's gonna get the big win at WrestleMania. Do you think he's gonna? Here's the thing. Do you think they would actually put the belt on John Cena, the U.S. title?
No, I think shenanigans. I think what's going to happen is Rusev is either going to win by a pinfall victory or a submission victory. Based on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Based on the fact
Welcome
that...
to our newest guest, the Joker. Sorry.
Yeah,
based on
I'm
the
sorry.
fact
He said Rusev would win by submission.
He will... that Cena doesn't have to be conscious in order for him to win by submission. Right? Right, so that could happen. I think it's going to be shenanigans, and there's going to either be... I don't think it will be a disqualification and Cena wins by DQ. I do believe Rusev is going to win in some form or fashion, leading Cena to probably beat the shit out of him at the end of the show.
Oh yes, I don't see Rusev standing tall in this. If he does win by disqualification, Cena's going to basically give him like 5 AAs, through concrete. He's going to basically,
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, he's gonna set him on fire. He's gonna basically do everything he can to make sure that we don't take Rusev seriously at all. And that's not a John Cena decision. That's gonna be a WWE decision. I don't get it, but it would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Brandon, you got anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, I'm confused on this one too, because this is again like the Rusev juggernaut is such a vital part of the what they got going on right now. I don't understand why they're killing it off. I don't understand if they are killing it off. Are they going to sacrifice John Cena? Is this like the doomsday moment? We're finally witnessing the death of Cena, death of Super Cena. I think I'm going to go with the group. I think there's some sort of schmoz ending, some sort of dusty finish. Gonna probably say Lana's going to be involved in some way, shape, or form, because that just makes the most sense.
I think it's going to involve, granted WrestleMania, any money, Tits McGee's going to be involved in that feud. As kind of an anti-collaborant against, like, Lana.
No. Here's the thing, though. Why that wouldn't make any sense. The Bellas are heels. Why would John Cena side with a heel?
Yeah.
Well, she's messing with her man.
Total Divas.
No, they haven't brought... Wait a minute, they haven't... Here's the thing, though. They haven't associated John Cena with Total Divas for 2 whole seasons. They're not going to do it now. If they had any intention of actually acknowledging John Cena as a part of the Total Divas thing, they would have already done it. But they've kept that product and John Cena surprisingly separate for a pretty long time. I don't see them bringing Nikki Bella into this whole thing to deviate from whatever they're doing with the Divas division. I think they're smart enough to not involve Cena with that mess. I could see a situation where John Cena... I've always had this like fun little idea where John Cena kind of pulls a Hurricane Helms and like steals Lana away, and then she comes back and she's like fully American. Like his dick finally turned her.
Oh God!
His dick finally turns her American, and she drops the whole Russian thing.
She's just a common woman. She comes in with like the polka dot pants, and then she's Dusty.
No, not even
That's
polka dots, man.
right.
She comes in wearing a cowboy hat, boots, and a red, white, and blue
She's Safa.
skirt combo. Yeah.
The female
Super
version
American.
of what
Apollo
Apollo.
do that, then I'm going to give him a list of people. Here, dear John Cena, here's a list of people I want you to make American.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say she comes dressed like the female version of Apollo Creed in Rocky IV.
Pretty much, yeah. I think that's
Well,
her,
I'm
I
gonna
think
be-
that's the future.
Call it
I've
something
said it
entirely
before and I'll say it again. I think Lana, the actress that plays her, could be this generation's Sunny if they really parlayed it. I think she's got a huge amount of mainstream appeal that I think they can tap into as soon as they drop the Russian gimmick, and it's a matter of time. I mean, there's money being left on the table with her doing this whole Russian gimmick. I think inevitably that's going to be the case, and if there's one person that can turn, Lana American, it's John Cena.
Now, if they do that, she'll just be another diva.
So what you're basically saying is John Cena's Winky has the power to unprogram people.
Yes.
We should introduce
Yes.
him to the Church of Scientology. Allegedly.
The Church of Cena, good God.
And apparently his semen, if you rub it in your face, can turn you heel. It has the opposite.
I heard that it's like the Holy Grail. Like, if it makes you immortal, or you just can't leave the room. Sorry.
Wait, so if he shows his dick to the wrong person, it melts their face off?
Yep.
Yeah.
Happens.
But only if you don't believe.
Sure.
They chose poorly.
Oh, you beat me to it. All right, Nick, we haven't heard.
I say it's going to be Rusev by some shenanigans. So that's me.
I got to agree. I think Brandon's also agreed. Nick, do you want to continue the agreements here? Rusev by shenanigans.
Yeah, it's gonna be shenanigans. It's gonna be Cena wins by DQ. LOL.
Yeah, probably. Dave Wade, what do you have to say about this?
I'm going to say that there's going to be shenanigans, but I'm calling Cena, and it's going to be like the end of Rocky 2. It's going to be one of those really awkward, clumsy moments where someone literally has to beat the other man out, if you know what I mean. It's not going to be a solid, satisfactory win, but I'm saying Cena.
They're both gonna knock each other out. Like they're both gonna hit each other with a clothesline and then double down.
Yeah, and then somehow he retains it. But yeah, I'm saying Cena. You can either laugh at me next week or call me a god. It's probably going to be laugh at me, but I'm standing by it. I'm saying Cena.
Well, one last question before we end this out. Let's say Cena does win. Do you think he brings back the U.S. spinner belt?
I hope not. God, I hope not. God, I hope not.
No.
I think he's going to throw it in the trash because he says he doesn't get TV dinners. Oh wait, that's Scott Hall.
All right, so
yeah.
that's pretty much what we have to say.
I still believe
Yeah.
the title should go on NXT. I think they don't really need it as a secondary title at the moment. They could move it to NXT, give it to someone
Yeah, I
there,
agree.
and have it as like the secondary title on NXT for now, because it's being wasted at the moment.
The
They've got
second
IC
coming
belt.
of Cena. But see what I did there.
Yeah, I really hope he doesn't win it and then retire the belt, because it's just going to be stupid. Because for some reason, when Cena gets titles, he either unifies them or retires them.
That
Yeah.
is true. That is true. So yeah, I stick by my whole Sunday Night Raw comments. This pay-per-view really does nothing for me. I mean, I'm probably going to be out. Wait a minute. Yeah, I work that night, so I'll probably be back for the second half of it. I might stream the second half, if anything. I'm not even going to...
Well, if
There's
you
no
want some time to
desire.
kill and you want to get the WWE Network, it's only $9.99 and you can get it for free in
I
February.
was just going to say, this is either the biggest compliment to the WWE Network or the biggest insult to this pay-per-view event, which is I'm going to watch it, but the only reason I'm going to watch it is because I'm only paying a tenner for it.
Yeah,
If I had to
and
pay $60 for this, I'd rather cut my penis off.
I'm
with a
not
rusty
paying
bread knife.
anything for it. That's the brilliant thing about it. The reason why I'm sticking with the WWE Network is NXT. I think the takeover events
You're going to cancel one day.
are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I believe Rival.
NXT is worth
Yeah, Rival is going to hold head and shoulders above this pay-per-view.
alone.
Yeah, alone, and I just don't see this pay-per-view working great. I think
We're all in
the
agreement
shining
there. I think
moment
all
is
of us,
the
at
shining
some point
moment is going to
tonight,
be
touched
Bryan
upon the fact
versus
that this
Reigns.
pay-per-view- So I was going to say, all of us at some point tonight touched upon the fact that this pay-per-view just feels cobbled together and reeks of
But that's
no
always the
real
way,
thought.
unless it's the big 4 pay-per-views, they all seem cobbled together. Like, unless it's Survivor Series, unless it's SummerSlam, unless it's WrestleMania.
Or the Rumble, yeah.
Or the Rumble.
It just seems like they're B
But
shows.
even the Rumble was disaster this year. And just,
Technically an insult to the fans, really, when you stop to think about it, which is, if you're not going to make this like the other ones, then it's just cannon fodder, stocking-filling shit, and you don't really need to make it in the first place.
No, I agree, and that's the problem.
You know what? I'm going to go to the Rumble's defense on one thing. Take out the actual Rumble matchup. It wasn't a bad pay-per-view. Like, if it had ended at that triple threat matchup for the WWE title, it would have been a great 2-hour pay-per-view.
But
it would have been a great in your house.
It was the Teddy Long Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Because most of the fucking matches were goddamn tag team matches.
Holla, holla, holla.
If Taker was still wrestling, someone would have gone one-on-one with The Undertaker if he was still wrestling full-time. I guarantee it.
Well, so let's go on to the Iron Sheik tweet of the week, and let's wrap things up.
Yes!
So, Mr. Liggan.
Did someone answer the asking, by the way, quickly?
Yeah, we did. Daniel Scott Prominence got it. And he answered, it was a tie between him and Chris Fitzpatrick in terms of the stars. They both mentioned the Macho Man Randy Savage. They mentioned Steve Austin. They mentioned Shawn Michaels. They mentioned Bruno Sammartino, to name a few. And these were world heavyweight champions of the company. There was a list as long as my genitals. But we went with those.
Small, eh?
And we had a tiebreaker question as well. That basically was, out of Austin and Michaels, how did the two individuals leave the company parting bad ways? They then managed to basically, it was Daniel Scott Prominence managed to basically answer those questions, as Shawn quit right after WrestleMania 14 after his match with Austin because he was pissed off, and Austin quit after being shoehorned into a match with Brock Lesnar with no build. And that was the Ask Him this week. I am tallying up the Ask Hims so that we can basically do something special for whoever wins in the next few months. So there you go. And
we'll give you 1 month free on WWE Network.
Now it's
That's
time.
the extent of our powers.
Now it's time for the Iron Sheik tweet of the week. So let's play the music.
That sounded so creepy.
Fuck him! I talked to him! I wanna know, are you the man or are you a fucking piece of shit? No good motherfucker! Fucking bullshit! Bullshit, Hulk Hogan! I'm the rare all-American gold medal. You are good. You are the best. But you know, I beat the fuck up. Fuck! Fuck! Oh, ho, ho! You know it, jabroni! Fuck! Fuck!
All right. Are we done? Because I love this theme song, but I mean, God damn, I feel like I really can't live up to it sometimes. This week was really kind of hard. I'm gonna admit, this week Iron Sheik was not on his A-level Twitter game this week.
It comes down to, Iron Sheik, so pressure is
I know.
off.
Well, it does. Here's the thing. I felt that this week Iron Sheik was not on his normal A-level Twitter game. There's no sports for to talk about. I mean, the NBA All-Star game is pretty much a dud of all duds. There's nothing really to go on about, but I was able to cobble through the strain of promotional tweets that he's been putting out to find some gems. And Happy Chinese New Year. The greatest living Iranian says, Happy Chinese New Year's, except the Raisin Balls North Korea, go fuck yourself. And that, ladies and gentlemen,
beautiful,
is your Iron Sheik.
That's a pretty good one, actually, to be honest.
Fucking bullshit!
All right. Maybe it was a little bit better than I thought it was. The other one was going to be...
Anyone who has a topic
equals
North Korea
Raisin
gets
Balls.
free fucking parking in my drive.
I thought he was off his game. Maybe that's just my opinion.
Now,
are we ready to wrap this up?
we are.
'Cause, I got some.
Let's go on to the plug. So, Nick Horaceck, where can we find you?
All right, you can find me on YouTube at the Gaming excuse me. Damn. I think I'm catching a cold or something. Fuck. But anyway, you can find me on YouTube at the Gaming Pegasus 187. You can find me on Twitter at Gaming Pegasus 187. I'm on Facebook at Nick Horaceck. I am on Xbox Live at Pegasus 187. PSN at the Extreme Enigma. And then I'm on Instagram. I am on WWE Supercard at Pegasus 187. I just started my fucking Survivor Fusion. I decided, fuck it, I'm going to sacrifice Bo Dallas because in the end, it's going to be fucking worth it.
Don't stop believing.
Yep. Hey, in the end, I'm going to get something I can use, so.
You made the
Yep.
Bo Dallas made the sacrifices Hulk Hogan.
He's making him look strong.
Yeah,
So-
watch. I'm gonna pull Roman Reigns. Watch.
Lawn Boy.
I'm just going to quickly say, Nick, as per the cold, please be careful because you don't have free healthcare. And me and Burhan live in a socialist country, so we get free healthcare.
No shit.
It's wrong.
Yeah,
no, we
sorry.
don't get free healthcare. We get bullshit healthcare. But anyway.
We get taxed.
Bullshit healthcare is right.
It's not free. Yeah, but you know what? It's better than kicking the balls.
Better
Anyway,
than
well,
kicking the balls. So yeah.
Eve, sorry.
Go on.
You can
Go.
find me where baby elephants go to die.
That was a bit dark.
True story. No, you can
hell?
find me.
Bro.
I decided, haven't you noticed? Every time you did the plug in the past few weeks, I've had to deal with a stupid.
Lawn Boy's
All
post,
right, let me-
1975. Send your complaints to his YouTube channel.
let me rephrase that.
Maybe you can buy him a capture card.
Yeah.
You can. Oh, you bastard! You went there. You can find me.
You went there.
Do you know what?
He went
I gotta
there.
say this.
That's what she
I
said.
got to say this. Someone sent me a message on one of my YouTube videos tonight. Said, "I really like your videos, but I wish you wouldn't swear so much." Do you know what I said? Fuck off.
Yes.
And then they said, ain't that the kick in the dick? Right, so, Miguel,
Prom night, baby.
Beautiful.
Sorry.
where can we
You
find
know,
you,
you can
Miguel?
find me. Hang on, I'm finished. I'm
Oh,
finished.
sorry.
I'm not really where baby elephants go to die, because well,
I thought we'd just leave it at that, and then you just drop the mic and walk away, and then we all look at
gonna
you
say
saying,
that should find me at
I
the
think
end.
that should be Dave's gimmick. Like he just what his first thing is just he just responds with some fucking dark, depressing shit. Like you find me where baby elephants go to die.
All right. Well, I got an even
Like
darker
some
one.
Bray
You can
Wyatt
find
type.
me- You can find me in the CIA laboratory that created AIDS.
Bray Dave!
Save stuff
wow.
up.
He's Dave Wyatt! Yes!
Yeah. Anyway, Lawn Boy post 1975 or something. I'm just this clearly dark, mentally ill person. So you know. All right. And yeah.
He's
that's
a
epic.
he's a
Right.
Wyatt. You're a Wyatt. Mm-hmm. Won't you be a Wyatt too? Oh God, what is wrong with us?
I gladly follow the buzzards with the Wyatt family.
Yeah, this is just we've finally, guys, we've lost our minds. Miguel, the only sane one in the room.
All right, guys. As you know, I run the longest-running contiguous show on the Retro Unlim channel on YouTube, and that is the Untitled Movie Show.
Well, Lonnie freaking da!
Hey, you like to plug that you guys are the only live wrestling podcast on YouTube, so I'm gonna plug that I'm the longest-running contiguous podcast on the Retro Unlim channel.
We're
Been
also the
going over a year-
sexiest podcast on YouTube. Just saying.
Oh yes, I really have the voice that just makes women just cream themselves. Yes, and that would be the Untitled Movie Show. This past Wednesday, we did our news episode where we discussed Spider-Man being a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the all-female Ghostbusters cast. And this week, we're going to be doing part 2 of our Batman retrospective. We did, the week before, we did the Tim Burton
I just
Batman
shivered.
movies.
I think you know why I shivered.
Yeah, we did Batman Mask of the
I got cold
Phantasm
sweats,
and the first Schumacher Batman, which is Batman Forever. This week we're going to start with the second Schumacher Batman, that of course being Batman and Robin, and the Nolan trilogy, and the Batman series going forward. So join us there. It's myself, it's Dave Wade, it's Michael Burhan, it's Anina Kasky. It's the Untitled Movie Show, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, on the Retro Unlim channel on YouTube. follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/unmovieshow, where I'll be posting episodes that we've done, links to the episodes that we've done on YouTube. And I've got another plan that I've been working on that I've kind of talked to Burhan about that I may do.
To take over the world?
I'm planning on... besides that, it's not tonight. It's
Burhan
tomorrow.
and McGill, Gill.
One podcast at a time. I am planning on taking previous episodes of the Untitled Movie Show from our BTR days, our Blog Talk Radio days, and putting them on one of my personal YouTube channels. So I'm tweaking the channel right now to do that, and I figure it'd be great exposure. So look into that in the future. It's something I'll be doing. But for now, like I said, follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/unmovieshow. Please get the numbers up, guys. I would really like to really get that going. I'm trying my best, but I can't grow without more followers.
Look at it like this, though. It's not a true reflection of the number of people who watch, because you only get once it's live, the views don't count. You only get the views afterwards when it's not live. So,
and it's also me needing to circulate it a bit more because I've been off my game the last month or so.
I promote it every Wednesday. Thank you.
Go on,
who honestly has been really helping us out, and I really want to give a shout out to her. Anina's really been retweeting a lot of the tweets on the show that we've been doing. Big shout out to her. Follow her on Twitter, at Anina Kasky. She's really been going out there for us, so I really have to give her...
And she is as spunky as she is lovely. I've worked with her a couple times.
She's a lot of fun, guys. She's a really nice person. Follow her on Twitter as well, but follow us first. Twitter.com/unmovieshow. Untitled Movie Show, Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock on YouTube, on the Retro Unlim channel.
Yeah, and you can find me on youtube.com/thenerdgenius. And you can find me also on nerdgenius.com along with all our shows. You can just click on the podcast link on there. We find some retrounlim.com. I'll be sharing this on Reddit and loads of other little places too. Make sure you check it out, guys. Great stuff coming. I've got my video of 2K15 coming up. I just need to be bothered to actually do it because I'm in a foul mood.
I demand it. I've been waiting on this for bloody months.
Fuck you. Anyway, to everybody out there, I want to say a great big go fuck yourselves if you don't listen to the show. If you want to troll the show, I've had sex with your mum 1,000,000 times. And she made me bacon and eggs for breakfast, and then I threw the eggs in her face and said, "What kind of fucking Muslim do you think I am?" And then I had sex with her again. I then also molested your puppies. So let's go on from that and go to you, Brandon, to sign off the show. And yes, as I said again, fuck you lot.
He's just shaking his head thinking, what's wrong with you dark fuckers?
Yeah.
I'm like the guy who's got to follow Kanye West after he interrupted Taylor Swift. I'm like, wow, what do I really say to that? Anyway,
I'm not saying that you're not good, but I think Beyonce should have been a better Divas champion than you.
Beyonce would make a pretty awesome Divas champion. I'm not gonna lie. The Queen Bee.
If she makes that face as well.
The Beehive would show up to WWE shows, that's for sure.
You could snap the person's finger and then say, if you like that finger so much, you should put a ring on it.
As long as she makes that face, the face that she made in that concert that made her look like the She-Hulk.
Yeah. Boys, let him finish. Brandon, go ahead.
I know. Thank you, Miguel, for directing traffic, because I've been I just woke up a half hour before this show, so Miguel's been playing host for this because I'm.
Is your beard kicked back in properly yet?
No, I had to shave. I had to go to a funeral yesterday, so I had to shave whatever stubble I had. So
what you're basically saying is
sorry to hear that, man.
My
condolences, man.
Yeah, my condolences as well.
Friend of the family. Thank you, sir. Friend of the family. Cancer sucks. What are you gonna do? Anyway, so you like me on Twitter, Brandon All Hope. That's where you can find all my kind of weird musings about stuff, wherever kind of I feel like posting things. Twitch, Brandon Calrissian 420, maybe some more of that coming up if I buy some new games coming up. I know there's some games coming out that are out that I want to play. We'll see. So stay tuned on the Twitch for that. Shout outs to everybody who watched my episode of 3 Boys, a Goat, and a Dancing Bear, where I played both episodes of the Game of Thrones Telltale game back to back. Shout outs to those people who sat and watched it, all 12 of you. Yeah, go out and support independent.
I don't. I
shit!
don't.
So I can't. Just Twitch and me just mainly because my internet's shit. Just don't get on. So.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that.
do put all my. I mean, I think I put some of the stuff to go onto my YouTube, but I don't know if it actually made the thing. I don't fucking pay attention. I don't know how. I'm still trying to figure out how that all shit works. But shout outs to the homeboy. Wait, I got one more shout out to go before I go into the thing. Shout outs to the homeboy Bobby Sapphire, aka Ken Crofton, and the missus getting married up there in Rock City this weekend. I'm not gonna get into the reasons why I wasn't invited. That's on them.
Maybe they knew that.
Anyway.
Maybe they knew that you would shave. That was why, and they're like, we can't see him without the beard.
I'm fun at weddings. That's all.
You mean you're drunk at weddings?
Yes, exactly. That means I'm fun. I'm fun at weddings.
Yeah.
Drunk Brandon comes out and gets.
Well, yeah. When Todd Burhan comes out, feelings get hurt. Just saying.
All right. So
actually, can I make one really quick shout out? Just
because and then I gotta do my ending gimmick.
I know this is oh, it's not more important than your show, but it's just really important because my twin brother took the picture. I told this ages ago, but it took an interesting drive. My twin brother took the picture that the Prodigy are using for the cover of the new album, and he even though they've changed it and stuff, so he was basically like me, a whore, and he emailed them and said basically, I took the picture and proved it. Can I have free tickets for your tour? And they're going to give him free tickets. So, well done, Ian, for being a scabby bastard.
Are you going?
Well, I doubt he'll give me one because we don't get on.
Right, so why are you promoting it? You should be like, fuck you, you scabby bastard.
No, because I'm proud that, my brother achieved greatness.
That's the kind of good man Dave is. Even though he's got serious heat with his brother, he's putting his brother over.
You're no Vince McMahon, Dave. You're no Vince McMahon.
Exactly. Good brother Dave. You
haven't written it on WWE.com saying that he's being sued, and there's a litany of reasons why he's being sued.
Wait, my twin brother's being sued? Sorry.
Yeah, if your twin brother's name was CM Punk. So on from that, let's segue on to the end of the show.
All right, so can I do my fucking ending gimmick?
Yes, do the ending gimmick.
All right. So again, you listen to this 2.5 hour long podcast experience and put us up with us talking all over each other. You obviously like professional wrestling, so you live someplace in the United States of America, Great Britain, Europe, Australia, Japan. Hi, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
There it is.
You live in a town. You live in some place where there is independent wrestling. Go out.
Or have a TV.
I guarantee you, there's people out there with spandex and a dream and some boots and some knee pads and some injuries, and they're living out their dreams, trying to entertain good folk just like you. So support them. It's the least you can do. You could be witnessing the future. You could be witnessing a bit of the past. Independent wrestling is great. Support independent wrestling. I think that's everything. So, for Nick Horaceck, for Mr. Dave Wade, for the guy who basically carried me through this entire episode, Miguel Leon, I am Brandon Liggan saying goodnight. Get the fuck out of here. Go forth and spread beauty and light. Peace, love, and humpiness to all. Play my goddamn theme song.
This show is sponsored by Vince McMahon being very, very old. Yes, Vince, I don't think Photoshop can actually hide your oldness, because you look very geriatric. I'm wondering why you're still breathing. And I feel very sorry for you and your very saggy muscles. This show is also sponsored by Boobs McGee. Yes, aka Mrs. Cena, aka the man who always wears a rubber when he ejaculates because she has to talk about her sister and Daniel Bryan pulling out for some reason. I don't understand why she does that. Maybe it's because she's jealous because Bryan has a bigger penis. Who knows? And that's the end of that. Oh yeah, and also go fuck yourselves.